This is S4. Now sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State, right here in our very own studio in Cape Horn, Concrete, Washington. Tonight, October started. Can you believe that?
God.
What?
God. Every month is just meshed into
Oh,
every other month.
It's gonna be down in history as that one. Yeah, well, that it's the year that we don't talk about. Yeah. So, in light of it being October, we are doing a Halloween theme every show for the month, including Roundtable, in a couple weeks. So tonight we're talking urban legends, and we have Rosella C. Rowe with us tonight. She released her book, and so we'll be talking about that. And we've got Arnold Hampton, our park ranger, retiree out of Olympia. So I can't wait. You're going to talk about Washington State urban legends, correct?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Because so I've got some international urban legends, just because I know we have a lot of international listeners, specifically in Australia, Brazil, UK. So I got one from each of those countries, and Norway. And then the rest of them are from different states across the United States. So how are we all doing tonight?
Doing great.
Excellent. And have you sold any copies of your book yet in the last day? 2?
Me?
Have you sold any copies of your book yet, or no?
Oh yeah, I sold a few copies. Yeah, I'm actually like on I'm on my second batch of 10 because I got some shipped to me from the publisher. So
Damn,
doing really good, and I had a book signing today.
You're going to sell out before Halloween.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, I only have 4 left.
And hey, folks, it'll make a great Christmas present here in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how you said me. Like when he asked, "Have you sold any copies?" You said me. Rosella, none of us. The rest of us aren't authors.
I'm like, does somebody else have a book that I'm not aware of?
No,
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah.
You're the only
I
author on
actually-
tonight.
So I've been up since 6:30 in the morning. I left for basically to go to Kentucky. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have my sound going out. Okay. So I left for Kentucky at 6:30 a.m. and I got invited to this haunted farm who was having a craft show, and it was last second. So I went there and I brought all my books, and I'm like, well, this will be great, and I'll do some readings too, because I do readings, and I was busy all day. And I got home at 8 o'clock, and now I'm on with you guys. So it's a little crazy today.
Watch out for
But
the
a good
horses.
crazy.
Haunted horses still love to knock you down,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do have a haunted horse apparently in the woods, I've been told.
Most of them do. So I take an apple or a sugar cube with you, because that will keep the haunted horse away.
Oh, okay.
Just saying. They still like them, I'm sure.
That's interesting.
I would think.
Yeah, apparently when they were talking about it, somebody found a horse tooth as they were saying that they saw a horse. So that's one of their stories that they told me anyway. So it's interesting.
Definitely interesting.
So what's everyone? So when I say the words urban legend, what does everyone think? What's the first urban legend y'all think about?
The movie.
The hook
The
hand.
movie Urban Legend?
Hook hand.
Huh?
The hook hand on Lover's Lane.
Oh,
Rosella? You have a favorite urban legend?
I mean, I think of that like, was it the Headless Horseman? Is what I always think of.
Sleepy
When you
Hollow.
say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Arnold?
I would have to go to the thing like Bloody Mary, but it was like Candyman when it came out. Me believing stuff like seeing stuff in the mirror and stuff.
Yep. Yep. Bloody Mary and Candyman. Which I don't think there's any real.
Yeah.
There's no real validity to the story Candyman that I can find. I mean, it's a movie.
Oh,
It's 2020.
Boogeyman.
Oh God! Oh yeah. I wouldn't try it if being 2020.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, he wouldn't have bees with him. He'd have murder hornets now.
Right.
Thank you.
That's worse.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
it is.
really worse.
That is worse.
But you know
And-
what? I was actually on an investigation, and like somebody we mentioned the boogeyman, and then the entity laughed and said the boogeyman is real,
No.
and it was a child, and I thought that was kind of scary because I'm like, oh my god, this is a child we're talking to. So it was really kind of scary.
that makes perfect sense though. In that, yeah, a child spirit's going to see anything, including you, possibly, as a boogeyman.
Oh, that's true.
When you think about it.
Right, and
So
anything out of
coming
the
from
normal.
a child, that makes it
Yeah.
just so much better than some old man saying, "Yes, the boogeyman's real." I'm like, oh my God, no.
No joke, right?
So coming from a child spirit, yes, okay, that makes so much more sense. Although some of the entities we've encountered over the last 10 or so years when we did the astral team, yeah, half of them probably look like the boogeyman. I mean, think about it. Aliens alone look like boogeyman,
No boogeyman. No boogeyman.
but they don't hide under the bed. Hey, Jaron. Good
Yeah.
to see you in the chat room.
All right, so Rosella, tell us a little bit about your book, quick. The Haunting at 2095.
Okay, so yeah, it came out October 1st, and it's on Amazon. It's supposed to be on Barnes & Noble and Books A Million on October 1st, and so all out for Halloween. And it's based on my real-life story, where you can follow Becca Fletcher from basically 1990s, from a child to present day. And it goes through her perspective of moving into a house after a divorce. Her parents have gotten divorced, and how kind of basically her life changes from moving, family circumstances, and then all of a sudden she notices that there is weird things going on in her house, such as a woman showing up making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in her kitchen, to like doppelgangers. We have basically mimicking sounds, doorknobs turning in front of her eyes, which the character is me. And that really happened. Deadbolts opening basically entirely on their own. I watched 3 of them just go like 3 at one time, just flip open. And then the door just goes wide open, and the dog was barking and then ran through the door eventually and ran away. So different things going on, but because I was in a Catholic family faith, basically, my mother would be like, go surf for Halloween, and she would just shush me about it because she didn't know really, I think, what to do. And she has just been through a divorce, so a lot of things that she was kind of, just, I don't want to deal with this right now. I don't know how to deal with this. So most of my life, though, had a lot of guilt because once I figured out that the house was haunted by somebody, I found out the woman. And in the book, she is named Julia Walter, so all the names have been changed for the protection of the privacy. But I found out from a neighbor who was a babysitter of my little brother that I picked up every day that this woman who I was describing in my house and seeing and thinking it was a burglar because I was a child and not thinking really ghost, she was like, this woman was my friend and she committed suicide 23 days after moving out of your house. She used to live in your house. So I found that out, and then my whole world changed, and then things basically became worse in the house. So I went through a lot of just terrifying experiences. But when you look at them at now that I'm an older age and now that I am a paranormal investigator because of all this, you kind of think, oh, what was she trying to tell me by doing this, this, and that? The bad thing is that my friend had a seance in the house against my will for my 16th birthday. Happy sweet 16 to my butt, because she had this horrible thing, and then she just she invited everybody into my house, and like all the kind of, she just opened this bad door, and apparently she was trying to summon her father, who killed himself in jail. So she was a real winner. And I had no idea this, like, kind of how bad she was until that moment. And then after that, my mom found out and forbid me to be her friend, and that relationship ended pretty harsh after she found out my mom said no, kind of thing. So I go through all these different things, but so you see my life as I move in and have all these experiences, and every other chapter it basically switches characters. So it's me, then there's Julia and her experience leading up to her suicide, as well as her husband's experiences of coming home and telling her, we have to go and leave the house that you love, and I've been transferred. And then his experiences leading up to her death and how he tries to help her. But back then there was no mental health, like any kind of facilities or things. So, yeah, I really try to tell people, like, from this book, a lot of lessons. So basically, I now run toward the paranormal because I'm trying to decipher psychologically what this entity is trying to tell me. But before, I was always so fearful and angry. So I try to walk you through that as I am terrified, I'm angry, and what happens because I get terrified and angry, because I kind of just fed it. And especially when it got really like this entity that did come into the house and got worse. So I'm trying to tell people and educate people about my experience, so if they are going through something or had a childhood experience, to not be so traumatized towards it. And maybe this is a different perspective as now an adult looking back from that child perspective, to not fear it as much, because maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought. Maybe they're trying to get something and like communicate to you.
I've got to say, at least you're ahead of all the paranormal TV shows who scream like little girls and run out of the damn building because, oh my God, there's something real. You're running towards it.
I do, and people think I'm crazy, but I do.
So speaking of running towards it, you have a couple of blogs and a new podcast, right?
I do. So my blog is called My Haunted Travel Blog, and you can find that on it's myhauntedtravelblog.blogspot.com. And I write about all my paranormal investigations and basically the spirits that I encounter. So what you guys were talking about, like maybe some legends, folklore, I kind of debunk some of that stuff and talk about the history and what the spirit is communicating to me. And then I also recommend it to people who, if they're into the paranormal and they want to experience it themselves, I tell them if I want to recommend it for them to go, and then give them information to go there. So I do that. And then I have the podcast is it's a haunting good time radio show. And I am doing several live things for Halloween, October 24th and October 31st. And I also have somebody on, my friend who's a medium, Paul, on October 9th. And that will be really fun to talk to him. I talked to you guys last time when I was on about the white light and shield of protection. And I had to use it in an emergency situation. And he's the one who kind of taught me about that and saved me once from a bad entity. So I kind of talked to him. I'm going to talk to him about that and how he uses it and why. So that'll be fun. But we're back at Snow Hill on October 31st, and I'm excited because that place is really extremely active, especially for women. It's like it comes out for us girls.
So just the people that don't know what Snow Hill is, could you explain a little bit about what Snow Hill is?
Okay, so it's in Vienna, like North Vienna, Ohio, and it is actually a country club from the 1800s. I think it was built in 1825. I'm thinking it's 1825. I've done a lot of them now, so I was trying to remember. But it is now turned into, it's like an old house turned into a country club but a family lived in it for, I think, 3 generations. And then finally the 4th generation sold it, and then the owner, he bought it, and then he made a whole golf course on it. And so now you can go and you can play golf, and you would just never know that this place even was.
It kind of sounds like your modern day Shining, honestly. Like, they take it and they turn it
Long
into
endless hallway with the twin kids. Yeah, no.
It's very interesting, yeah. Like, because when I walked in, I walked right by the entrance to the house, and I mean, not even just knowing or even feeling it, even as a medium, I just was like, okay, I'm on a mission to find the owner. But and then she brought me back, and she's like, yeah, this is it, and it has lots of history. So it used to be a pub tavern that they used to run a business out of the home. They had, I think that they had 11 children, as memory serves, and they actually, it was an underground railroad. So the bar was kind of their disguise. And they had an underground railroad tunnel that led from them to this inn across the street where they would have the slaves escape. And you can actually still see just the place. They closed the wall up because now the inn's gone across the street. But you can see where the tunnel begins. But the place is extremely active, mainly haunted, I have found, by past golfers. Like, no joke. They just they'll come out and be like,
the kind of hauntings that you find there, are they like spectral? Are they more like a repeat loop, or do you have kind of?
Oh no, they're very interactive.
I'd be waiting for that ghost golf ball to come hit me in the head.
Yeah, I did think of that when I was. Apparently, they don't like women in their area. So if you go into the men's locker room, I literally was sitting with my friend Mariah. We were sitting right next to each other, and in the middle of us, you kept feeling like 3 times it would come and go. This cold, like kind of place just in between us, and a brush up between both of our elbows would get extremely cold. But you would hear voices from behind you in the hallway. So you really couldn't tell where anything was kind of coming from. It was just such a crazy thing. But then all of a sudden, right in front of us, because there's metal lockers in front of us that we were kind of sitting in front of and staring at, this shadow person just comes out half of its body, like its top, like torso and above, and just sticks itself out, kind of like peekabooing at us and waving at us, and then went back in and was gone. So we tried to debunk it, and we could not. And the guys never saw most of the stuff that we saw, because my friend Evan was with us and Brent, and they didn't see half the stuff that we saw. And if you do listen to my podcast about Snow Hill, you'll hear a woman screaming in the middle of the episode from down the hallway where it's not known to be haunted. So it's very interesting. I mean, just full launch, bloody murder scream. So it was like, oh my, and you hear me and Miranda go like, Mariah go like, oh, did you hear that? Because we just looked at each other, just stunned. But a lot of interaction. They want their attention. They just, they love it, and they know that you can see them. So like, me. So it's just, they're more playful, I swear. When I walk in,
I got to jump in real quick. PBR, I love it. Yeah, we'll be talking about that. So I'm watching the chat room, folks, and I asked in the chat room what their favorite urban legends were. And PBR says the old urban legend of the escaped killer convict with a hook for a hand. And 2 teenagers were out necking one night and got a weird feeling and drove off. They got home and a hook was hanging from their back bumper. We'll be talking about the hook, because there's so many different legends about the hooked-handed man. I mean, you got the I Know What You Did Last Summer. You've got Candyman, who had a hook for a hand, the Hitcher. So yeah, that's Captain one of the legends we will be talking about tonight.
Captain Hook, yeah.
What's your? Do you have any more books planned?
Hooky McCurkison.
911 Emergency. I hope it's coming out soon, and that one's about a police officer that runs into an accident in the woods. Of course, everything's set in Troy, Ohio, because that's where I live. And so basically she goes and finds this accident. She's the only one, and finds a dead man that looks like he's been dead for a really long time, just smashed in a car, and like in this gold Taurus, basically in the side of an abandoned, like kind of looking haunted house. And she calls out for help for backup because she's by herself. And then all of a sudden she hears a man crying out for help. So she follows his voice for several minutes, and she's about to give up each time he cries out for help and says, "Over here," again. And then finally she sees him in the woods peeking out at her from behind a tree, a shadow person. And he kind of realizes she sees him, and then he darts away. And then she turns around, and the whole scene is gone. So this entity follows her home, though, and he really tries to destroy her current relationship she's in and haunts her house, knocks her out a few times. It's very scary, but he ends up falling in love with her and just totally destroying his life until she tries to banish him, and then you kind of see what happens. But I have a sequel to that, too, about her, this police officer's daughter, as well, when he kind of comes back.
Nice.
So that's interesting. It's like a little bit of a romance twist / horror in a way, thriller. But I like to call it my paranormal thriller. And that's not real, of course. But then I have the book I'm writing about Victorian House in Millersburg. And all my research I'm doing on that. And that is called Paranormal Gem, the Victorian House Museum. And this woman who actually haunts the Victorian House even comes to me in my house where I am to tell me what to write about her story and her life. So kind of the same thing that's happening to me for the haunting in 2095 when I was a child is happening to me again. So it's an interesting about a lot of research. So other people's experiences and mine as a paranormal investigator, and also this woman, her name's Lena, and her life. So it's going to be a mix of a bunch of things. And we're having several events so people can come and do their own paranormal investigation at the house. But when this is all over, of course, because they have a bad COVID situation up there right now.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's getting worse everywhere.
Yeah, it's an Amish country, so they don't agree with putting on masks. So it's just not a good situation.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump in and talk about Bloody Mary.
Ooh. Well, my daughter talks about it every day.
Oh, my kids see it on freaking YouTube, especially right now with Halloween coming up. So, what do you have to say about Bloody Mary, Arnold? Did you ever try it when you were a kid?
Hell no.
No. So there's different rituals so some say you say Bloody Mary 3 times. I read somewhere where you have to say it 10 times.
I've seen where you say it like 13, have candles and turn out the light.
Yeah. Well, that's the common theme with all of them. You always have to have a dark bathroom in front of a mirror with candles. But I'm confused because some reports are reading it's actually stems from Queen Mary, and the other one it's Mary Wordsworth. Oh, she gonna haunt my dreams now.
Mary Worth.
Yeah, Mary Worth. There we go. Now she's gonna haunt my dreams because I got her. I butchered her name.
Worst.
Mary Worth. Yeah, she was the witch.
Yes.
She was the witch they killed, they buried, and now she haunts people wanting to get revenge.
Yes.
I have more I have more belief in that one, I think, than I would it being Queen Mary. What's your thoughts about that? Huh?
Not Queen Mary.
Not Queen Mary. Bloody Mary, Queen of Scots.
No, God. You guys suck.
Not the Queen of Scotland.
It was Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria. Okay, I knew what I was to get right. It's not the Queen of Scotland?
I know. I know. I just said that because I knew it was going to bother the hell out of Cole. So I had to.
Oh. So it's going to take Dennis a minute, but Dennis, I've already asked everybody else, what's your favorite urban legend? So, what do you know about Queen Victoria?
Oh.
What do I know about her?
Yeah. She was known as Bloody Mary. But, some of the stuff I've researched on her, she really wasn't she didn't kill near as many people as historians make it sound like she did. That I don't know. Prove me wrong. What do you know about her?
Well,
She was Shakespeare in disguise.
I don't want to get shot, so I'm not going to touch on the royal family killing people.
Oh,
Okay?
come on. They're all reptilians. They're all aliens. We don't know that.
Okay.
So,
Bring it forth.
the entire thing started with her trying to how do I explain this?
Didn't she kill people that she claimed were tyrants against the Catholic Church? Actually, she was Protestant, I believe.
Well,
Where do you think?
yes, I
what
believe
the
she was
heck
the first Protestant.
Came from?
Yeah.
I believe she would. No. Not at all.
No.
Who was that? Who was off with her head?
That was Alice in
the Queen of Hearts.
Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
And
Yeah.
actually, that was the Red Queen, not the Queen of Hearts. Two totally different people.
Hey, the S4 Urban Legend is in. Hey, it's pointy go. And Dennis likes Spring Heel Jack. I don't think I have anything on Spring Heel Jack.
Spring Hill Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I do know a couple of things.
Yeah, and Dennis says, didn't she buried people in her garden, didn't she?
Supposedly.
Yeah. There's so many rumors about
Yeah, that's
what
the
she
problem.
was.
Like, no one knows what actually happened there.
All right, Mary Worth. That's it.
Nobody even knows what she actually looked like. There was like 2.5 pounds of makeup on her face.
Right.
I mean,
Oh, I've seen about 20 different pictures of her. Artist renderings or whatnot. What do you know about her, Rosella?
Well, I mean, I think I just saw a show about that a little bit ago or something. I thought that they did prove that she did that, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I
that's the
actually wanted to
Mandela
know
effect.
why I never heard of the witch before with the Bloody Mary thing. I never heard of the Witch Association.
Yeah,
But
it's Mary Worth.
which one?
Go ahead.
Well, which one do you think that it is? Like, what
Mary
do you
Worth.
believe?
Do you?
You think it's Mary Worth?
Mary Worth was supposed to be a
Okay,
witch.
what about Hanako-san?
Huh? Who?
Hanako-san?
Hanako-san.
Hanako-san.
It's a Japanese urban legend about the spirit of a young girl named Hanako-san who haunts school bathrooms.
We're kidding. Oh, is that another Bloody
It's Bloody Mary.
Mary story? Okay.
That's the thing. These legends come from
Oh, they come from every culture.
yeah, and they spread throughout.
That's because mirrors are terrifying.
Well,
Okay.
okay, I'll give you that. and they are
They're
all
all
supporters.
So Bloody Mary wasn't Queen Victoria. That wasn't the idea. The idea started with someone heard a rumor.
Isn't that where it always
That-
starts?
Queen Victoria, in order to see her future husband, she walked up a flight of stairs backwards holding a candle and a hand mirror. Gazing into the mirror, that she was able to see the face of her future husband. It became a legend in the sense that there was a chance that they would either see a skull or the face of the Grim Reaper.
Okay. And that was
This
the Japanese.
was no, this is the Queen Victoria.
Okay.
This was popularized back then.
Mm-hmm.
Many, many women died doing it.
Well, yeah, you're
God.
at the top of a flight of stairs going
Carrying a
backwards,
candle.
carrying a candle and going, ooh,
All you gotta do is have someone come behind you and go boom in the mirror,
Right.
and they're gonna fall off the
Wow.
Yes. So it is. What is the word for that? It's the idea of a divination ritual,
Right.
invoking a
That-
spirit to
and-
show you your future.
And that's all of them.
Yes.
That's all the blood. All the blood. Well, it depends because you got the teenage girls today that go in there just to get terrified.
I mean,
That's
Yeah,
that's
I think
different.
that's more of it.
But the actual divination ritual, yes, it was
Yeah.
going in front of a mirror with a
So-
candle in a dark room, whether it was a bathroom or not. Anymore, the movies you see about Bloody Mary, it's always always go to the bathroom and lock yourself in, and then they scream and there's an axe in their head, whatever, you know.
And that's where
Yeah.
it turned from a ritual to a legend.
Right.
Is the fact that it turned from trying to see what your future holds to trying to scare the hell out of yourself.
Automatic death. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Well, all urban legends seem to end in automatic death. Either death or curses. Like,
Not all of them. Some of them, you know, look at the stories of, and it happens in every state. Every state's got it, where you have the ghost hitchhiker, and nothing happens to them. They pick up this girl, they take her to where she says she wants to go, and she thanks them. She gets out, and she just disappears.
Yeah.
That is a common one with that one. I mean, you do have the random one where they get hacked and slashed, but
like Hitcher. Yeah.
But, but that one is also everywhere. There was one of those in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a young girl that died in his 40s.
Have you ever seen the ghost on Highway 20?
I can't say that I have.
She wasn't a ghost.
I'm in Ohio, so no.
She was just a woman. She was just a woman dressed all in black.
That's not the lady in the blue car, is it?
No. No. Wrong one.
All of our locals know that one.
Well, they also, apparently, a lot of them know about the ghost lights on Highway 20. On South Skagit Highway. You and I weren't the first ones to see those.
No.
And, you know, the argument is always going to be, well, that was somebody going 80 miles an hour around the corner. No, it really wasn't, because we tried to catch up to it and we couldn't. And we were going 80 miles an hour. But
I was not. Shush. What?
I don't know.
Nothing.
In Ohio, like Troy, in my town, we have a bridge called the Crying Bridge. So apparently, when like the new settlers were coming, they had, you know, on the wagons, and they went over this bridge, and then some horrible accident happened, and then this baby died, of course, and now you will apparently always hear a baby cry at night.
mm-hmm.
So, but I've gone over that a million times because my mother actually lived down that same road, so I've never heard anything. But that's the only thing that I know of that's local.
Now, Arnold,
Yes.
you grew up in Alabama, correct?
No.
I thought you
my
did.
My family's from Arkansas.
Okay. I thought, for some stupid reason, I thought you were from Alabama. Because
No.
I've got the Hell's Gate Bridge in Alabama.
Like
No.
the way he said that. No.
No.
Yeah, I had the A right. Yeah, and we'll talk about the Hell's Gate Bridge later on. But that one, they actually closed that one off because too many people tried to drive over it.
Well, that's kind of what it's for. It's a bridge.
Right. But the urban legend begins from a car that went off the bridge.
This is in Alabama?
Uh-huh.
Like, they do know what bridges are used for, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
One would think.
Hi, Matthew.
Eric,
From the
I do
UK.
Hey, Matthew. So with the story we have from the UK, I'm curious if you ever heard of the white hair. And I'll give you a minute to answer. But finishing up with Bloody Mary, Arnold, what have you found out? Which one do you think it is? Do you think it's Queen Victoria or do you think it's Mary Worth?
Mary Wortman, the one that the mob went out to her house late one night and pulled her out from her bed and burned her? You mean that one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the one, I think. Because she was, it says that she was, since they couldn't, she would not tell them an answer and stuff, she started screaming and stuff after they, were stacking wood and stuff up around her and lighting it on fire.
That was, that sounds like the right story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that one.
I would agree too. And so we are going to do a witch show in November. November 3rd, I think it is. Whatever the first Sunday of November is, we'll be doing a History of Witches show. And before
Thanks.
that, we'll be doing a history of Native Americans show. But it gets, you know, a lot of the witches here in America, most of your witch burnings and drownings and gruesome murders happen in England. They didn't happen here. Most of what you'll find that happened at Salem weren't really witches. They might have been your herbal practitioner in the woods, and somebody didn't like her, so they said she was a witch, and voila.
Yeah.
Which, as a witch, you know, that it gets so irritating hearing all these awful witch stories, because it's like, really? Heh, I don't eat babies. I don't sacrifice nobody, so what the hell? Not saying there aren't some that might, but really, you give all of us a bad name when you throw all these bad witch stories around. It's irritating.
Well, actually, it started in Germany. The Pope actually started calling animals witches and started burning them. And then after that, it was people.
Oh, you ought to go to the Rotenberg Museum. The Rotenberg Museum of Law is what they call the Criminal Museum of Rotenberg, Germany. And they've actually got the Iron Maiden. They've got the stretching tables. They've got the dunking booth.
Wow.
I've got pictures of it at the house. And I actually bought the original Malleus Maleficarum in English, obviously. It's sitting at my house.
I started a book a long time ago. I stopped on chapter 18. I need to get back to it along with my million of other projects, but it's called Witch, and it's basically about that. I did tons of research on that, and that's where it starts. And this girl watches her family basically get killed, and she escapes, and she's immortal. And it's like through the whole book, she kind of witnesses big events in the world. But basically, she tries to teach people that whatever we think about witches is wrong. It's all backwards, and we're the bad people. So, yeah, I did a lot of history on that.
I think with Bloody Mary, and a lot of these urban legends, you're going to find that a belief in the urban legend is what gives them power. Does that mean Mary Worth is going to show up in the mirror? No, not necessarily.
No, but if you believe enough that something is going to show up, your mind is going to create something to show up.
Play tricks on you.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have a candle and a mirror? Yeah. You're going to see all kinds of stuff flickering in the candlelight.
Right, it could be something as simple as your bathrobe hanging behind you, and you're like, oh my god, it's the Grim Reaper. You know?
But it gets really curious, though, when you see it, like the version in Japan, when you see so many different cultures with the same story.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you wonder who was first.
What?
Like, which one actually was
which
the
one's the oldest story? The Mary Worth and America, or the version in Japan?
Or the English version?
The cavemen found a reflective surface. Start going, Mary Ugg, Mary Ugg, Mary Ugg.
And a tiger popped in and out of the... Yeah.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Jenna says, something hanging in the bathroom. Very large mosquito.
Oh, jeez.
No, wait, that's Alaska.
That's where Mothman came from. Come on now.
Mothman?
Large mosquito
very
flickering.
Large mosquito, yeah.
Oh. So, Matthew's in here, and he brings up the Green Children of Woolpit as being one of the legends from Suffolk, England. And actually, I love the story of the Green Children of Woolpit.
Okay, do you know enough about it to talk about?
I do know enough about it
right.
to talk about it.
So let's talk about the Green Children of Suffolk.
Yeah, so supposedly there was a boy and a girl, and in this little tiny town of Woolpit, and they ended up coming into the town because they were lost, and they had a green tinge to their skin, and they would eat nothing but fava beans, and the boy ended up getting really sick and dying, but when they were trying to figure out where they'd come from, they said that they had come from, and I can't remember the name of the land, but a different land, and gave a name to it that didn't exist anywhere.
Is this like a changeling story?
Not so much of a changeling. There's a lot of people. There's different ways that people look at this. So some of them look at it as it's a portal from a different dimension or a different world.
So like a fairy.
Yes.
Like a face story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other ones look at it as they were aliens.
Right. I can see that. But no, we talk about Fae on the show all the time, Matthew. So, yeah.
It's not very often we talk about fava beans, though.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I want to try fava beans.
No, you don't. They're terrible. Oh, my God.
Never mind, I won't try fava beans.
They are not great.
We can have the fava bean challenge here, right here on S4 in the next 48-hour challenge.
Oh, God.
No, we almost died on the 24-hour
gets
challenge.
the
No,
hope
we're not
again.
going to do the 48-hour.
Read my mind.
So honestly, with the Green Children of Woolpit, though, it could have been something as simple as serious lack of nutrition. Back
Right.
then,
When you look at it from the mundane side,
Yeah.
it could be a vitamin deficiency or a sunlight deficiency or an unknown illness for that
Right.
matter, or a pigmentation.
But supposedly she ended up spending the rest of her life there, and eventually lost her green tinge to her skin, and had children and everything, whole family. So, yeah.
Matthew says he's having a friend for dinner. S4 does not condone the eating of your friends.
Unless it's barbecue sauce.
That's true.
As long as you have barbecue
That's
sauce
funny.
and some ranch dressing for dipping the fingers in.
She hasn't commented. S4 totally condones the...
Oh, man, all that reminds me of is fried green tomatoes. Oh,
That's what I was thinking.
There was no eating of humans in fried green tomatoes.
Oh,
they eat the human in fried green tomatoes?
Did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
they boil him up and they
I'll have to
feed
go
him to
watch
the
it,
cop
then.
who was looking for him. Okay.
Yeah, that was really sick.
Yeah, that
Gordon
was
Ramsay
gross.
would be so upset about that. Who boils human?
I know.
Right.
What a waste of perfect human. Okay.
So, is there a way to prove an urban legend? And we have about 15 minutes left of the first hour, and then we're going to jump over to Sleepy Hollow.
I don't know if there's a way to prove it or just to
It-
figure out where it
okay.
originally.
We gotta ask there. What do you all include with an urban legend? Because, like I said before, off air, you had talked about Bigfoot being mentioned as an urban legend, and you didn't like that. But I include all cryptids as an urban legend.
But I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you actually have, so let's use Bigfoot for example. Why would I not see him as an urban legend? Because we have enough footprints, we have enough hair samples, we've had Bigfoot knocks, that there's enough physical that I can honestly say, no, I know for a fact this creature actually lives in the woods behind my house.
But how about Nessie?
Okay, so that's where the difference is. Once you've established enough of a physical or a believable
Presence.
yeah, that takes him off the urban legend. Now he's a cryptid. Loch Ness, we have some pictures that could be photoshopped, and a lot of people think they are photoshopped.
So then
So-
what would you put Mothman down as? Would you put that as cryptid or urban legend?
Somebody's got evidence somewhere. So for me, yeah, would I put him as a cryptid? I don't know. I really don't. But once you see something on an urban legend list that you know for a fact, like Bigfoot again, for example, that's why I kind of scowled when I saw Bigfoot on the Washington State's urban legend list. I'm like, really? How can he be an urban legend when there's enough people that have witnessed him? And same thing with Point Pleasant.
Yeah.
So you've got enough
Yeah.
witnesses that saw Mothman, a lot of personal testimony that have actually seen him, besides this bunch of kids that chanted in the mirror Bloody Mary.
Right.
You know, that's still an urban legend.
So do you think that on some distant planet out there's some aliens that are like, oh my god, have you guys heard the urban legend about Earth?
Do you hear
this
there's
crazy
these walking
place.
monkeys?
Right? Like talking about, oh
They've got
man.
walking monkeys on Earth.
I hear they have
yeah.
something called nuclear power. Exactly.
It makes this mushroom cloud. I've never tried eating a cloud, but they look kind of like morels. Yeah. You know,
funny.
it's again.
Joe, that's not true.
So I gotta.
He says there's not too many Bigfoot in the urban legend. I've been to Seattle. I've seen some hairy people. I don't know if they were Bigfoot or not.
Joe, you even said yourself, you go to town, people run and scream thinking you're a Bigfoot. Come on now. And you can't take pointy sticks in Walmart. They might kind of frown at that.
There is a law in
Yeah, they
certain
kinda will.
areas of Washington State that killing a Bigfoot is illegal. Yes. Not all areas in Washington State, but certain areas.
So, Matthew, we need to talk after the show. After the show, you need to send me a friend request on Facebook, and I'd like to get you on the show, actually.
The fact that Bigfoot doesn't like England, I can get that. Like, with that much hair, that weather would do a lot of frizz.
I think it depends if you actually have witnessed it. I mean, I've actually seen something like I think that I have seen Bigfoot myself, having my own experience. I think that it's kind of hard to say overall. You know, it just depends on your perspective.
Well, then I'm going to throw this out there then too. So, black-eyed children, do we think that they fall into the other entities or into the urban legend?
Well,
I think that's an urban legend.
Would you guys like the definition of an urban legend?
Absolutely.
A modern story of obscure origin with little or no supporting evidence that spreads spontaneously in various forms and often has elements of humor, moralizing, or horror.
Well, like
Right,
Krampus.
so that can't be Bigfoot.
You know.
Well,
Because
There's
there
a
is
lot of
evidence
humor
to
around-
say that he's there. But
and
black-eyed
it says
children,
there could be evidence. That's the thing. A modern story of obscure origin with little or no evidence. There is a little evidence of him,
Of who?
Bigfoot.
Well, Bigfoot, hell yeah.
Yeah,
There's
so
all kinds of
but
evidence
he
of
still
Bigfoot.
falls under that category then.
So-
Although there's not really very well, though, because and also he follows the second part. Often has elements of humor, moralizing, or horror. He would be a moral story. Take care of the earth.
He could be. I like Tim. I like Tim's comment. Slenderman, Hat Man.
Yeah.
I do see Slenderman more as an urban legend. You know,
Wasn't he a creepypasta?
he was a creepypasta.
he's
Which
honest-
are now our modern day urban legends, basically.
I think, honestly, I think creepypasta brought him back because if you look through history, there's actually indications of a Slenderman described creature back in the 1800s.
Well, you know, when they talk about urban legends and everything else, in order to make it an actual urban legend, it seems like it would have to have some basis in truth to give it enough of a real feeling for people to believe in it.
Right.
Right? So, I mean,
Right.
let's say they call it Slender Man now, but it could have been some other form of something else at one point.
I still chalk up Slenderman.
We
as
did
a-
forget about one of the best urban legends
Which
in the
ones?
world. Are there alligators living in the New York City sewer system?
Actually, Kayla.
I have
You have
that.
that?
I have that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yes,
I would have
there
to
are.
say, I agree with Tim that Slenderman would be an urban legend. There is no
Yeah.
physical
I think
evidence.
so.
Yeah.
There's absolutely none. Having some little girls go to court because they stabbed their friend because Slenderman told them to, there's no evidence.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely.
Joe says cannibalistic human underground dwellers for the alligators. Joe, those are just the New Yorkers that use the subway.
Actually, okay. So if we're going into the alligators in the sewers, in 1951, they actually did find alligators in the sewer, but they were only about 2 feet long,
Well,
and
you know, that-
there were 2 of them that they took out of the sewer,
right.
and now there's no alligators in the sewer.
And on that, how many people illegally purchased an alligator
And
from
flushed him.
black market or whatever, and either put it down the sewer hole or flush it down the toilet? I can't see you flushing an alligator down the toilet, even as a baby. I mean, maybe. But,
Babies are only,
Yeah.
7-8 inches long?
right.
That's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. Okay, I need to call Roto-Rooter because I just
Yeah.
flushed my alligator. Yeah, no, that wouldn't.
I'm just saying.
Oh no, just put some Drano down there, you'll be fine.
It'd be a lot easier to go, those manhole covers, just lift it up and drop it down.
Well, it wouldn't even have to be a
Right.
manhole cover. You got all of the little inserts
Right.
from the street water and the runoff valve
Yeah,
and everything
but
else.
Pennywise is going to grab you if you do that.
No, not if you have an alligator. I mean, he might be a creepy clown, but I'm pretty sure that he still bleeds.
PBR says his uncle gave him a baby alligator. It really smelled bad. PBR, the feeling was probably mutual. That alligator was probably like, "Man, this guy smells like crap."
PBR, how many fingers do you have left?
Do you know what though? They really do stink. Well, they honestly they smell like turtles if the turtle hasn't been washed properly. You know that like nasty
I bet.
iguana-y smell. It is really bad. It is terrible.
We went to the zoo and no, we didn't see any alligators though.
Giant spiders and reptilians.
Ooh, you know what? I bet there could be some giant ass spider. That would be scary. I would not want to be
That'd be
anywhere
pretty
near a
horrible.
giant ass spider.
Oh, I thought you said giant spiders.
And all our listeners in Australia are just sitting there, what are you guys talking about?
So, if you're in Australia, I'd love to have you on the show for talking about Black Mountain. We need to do a whole show just on the Black Mountain.
No,
of Australia.
totally. That is
That's a
some
completely-
freaky shit.
There's urban legends within Black Mountain, but Black Mountain by itself has reports of alien bases underneath the mountain. They have missing people. They have ghosts. I mean, that's another Area 51.
You know, okay, on the sewer topic though, the rats in New York City that live in the sewers, okay, quite literally,
the alligators.
they are huge. They are the biggest, nastiest looking rats you have ever seen in your life. And that alone, even one of those, would keep me the hell out of a sewer.
They have their own mob.
Would you really be wanting to go into the sewer, though?
I'm
All right,
going-
Rosella, here we go. We
I'm
are
not
taking
going
a trip.
into the
We're
sewer.
going into the sewer. We're doing an
Oh my God.
investigation.
Have fun, guys.
Yeah.
Bring your
Bring
hazmat
your drone
suits.
down
Let's
there.
get this going.
Go through the car wash in a convertible before you come home.
Yeah. I ain't touching the damn sewer. No. And it's not because I'm scared. I ain't scared of no damn sewer, but I don't swim in crap. No.
Oh,
No.
God. Oh, God.
No.
My luck, that would be when they're cleaning out the valves or something. And I'm just getting washed
Hey, yeah,
away.
goes Kayla. Kayla's sorry. Kayla's not coming home. She got flushed out to the sewer treatment.
Been there,
plant
done that, I'm good.
or the ocean or something.
You did used to be a sewer maintenance for the town. I forgot about that. That was nasty.
Yeah.
Okay.
One time we sent a whole street notices that they needed to shut off, like they couldn't use their toilet for the next 2 hours. And then right before we started work, we actually went to each house. And we were working on one of the sewer pipes, and the lady flushed her toilet on purpose.
Oh, bitch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Two of us were right underneath the sewer line, and we got hit by everything. So I scraped as much of it up, and I threw it at her front door. I lost my job with the city.
Yeah, so Cole didn't work with this city anymore.
Yeah.
But I made my point.
So getting back to proving an urban legend, I like the way Supernatural did it in the first few seasons. They
Before
actually did
they
it cool.
went all crazy and went totally
Well,
off on
what do
one.
you mean?
The
how they
first two
did it?
seasons, they actually
Yeah, they were hunting
investigated.
supernatural.
And
Different
then it
things.
went all demon, and they got reborn. What
27 times. Yeah.
Yeah, it got stupid. But I think the key to looking at urban legends is what we always do in a paranormal case, the research, and talking to people that actually experienced it, talking to.
You need an Uncle Bobby.
Huh?
That's who they went to.
Yeah.
Uncle Bobby.
Yeah, he did all the research.
Okay, Barry's gonna be our new Uncle Bobby. I'm just gonna keep calling him and be like, "Hey, Bobby."
Okay, I mean, Barry. You'll be on next week. But yeah, I think the more factual stories, news reports, neighborhoods that you talk to, the more documentation you get circle around a specific urban legend, whether it's our ghost lights here, whether it's Hell's Gate Bridge in Alabama, whether you have to go there.
Yeah, do your own research. Check it out yourself.
Yeah,
see what you find.
You just research it, find out how much valid documentation you can find on it, and even talking to the witnesses that have actually seen it. They experienced something.
But still use protection when you're doing this stuff. Like,
oh, yeah. Because you don't want to be caught unprotected and then realize, my God, this is real. And
like Bloody Mary.
Dang.
Yeah, well, mm-hmm.
Anytime you're messing with a mirror, use protection.
Oh, I've got a shotgun with salt. Yeah.
Well, but
wasn't there a Bloody Mary legend where she came out with an axe?
Yeah, but that
was that a movie?
That was a movie, and they mixed her with
okay.
Lizzie Borden, and it was a weird.
So they crossed Lizzie Borden with Mary Orth.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh. Which would be a scary ass crossover. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it'd be as bad as Candyman with murder hornets. I mean, yeah. Speaking of murder hornets, I thought the murder hornets were going to get the beehives behind the house, but it was the bears. The bears got the beehives. So there are no more beehives. The bears tore them up.
That sucks.
And you're absolutely right, PBR. Don't ever buy a house built on an Indian burial ground.
How are you going to know? I'm just saying.
Look up the history.
No.
You asked the old Indian.
Well, yeah, for some people that's valid, but I mean, for others, like, if you're just building somewhere and you don't dig deep enough. If you know
the history of the location you're buying a house in, and you know that there used to be a reservation around the area, they shrunk them down a lot.
Truthfully, don't build it on any burial ground.
Well, no.
If you find a cheap plot of land, make sure it wasn't a cemetery before.
But I'm sorry, Native American spirits are much more ruthless than normal white guys.
We are not. A little peyote and we're all good.
Oh, what? No. Tobacco. Tobacco. And on that, folks, we are up to our first break for the night. So when we come back, we will start up with Sleepy Hollow.
Ooh.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
You break, you're going down.
And welcome back to S4, where we are trying to scare the living heck out of you tonight with urban legends.
Boogity boogity.
Meow.
And Rosilla, you wanted to
Yes.
give a shout out to somebody?
So I want to do a shout out for Jerry. He's kind of like my adopted dad, and then Harry from Victorian House. They're all listening. So hi
Right.
guys.
Hey, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Harry.
I love them.
I heard
My
already.
big supporters.
Good deal.
Alrighty. So we are going right into second hour with The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's the movie everybody watches. Well, I don't know. I've
come
got
on.
kids, so I watch The Nightmare Before
Christmas.
Christmas,
Yeah.
the Halloween version. Yeah.
Really? They still aren't into Spooky the Square
Yeah,
Pumpkin?
It doesn't scare them.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know, both of our kids.
I make them watch Teletubbies. It's terrifying.
I won't watch Teletubbies. What? Yeah, hell no. No.
It's too scary for you, isn't it?
They're watching
They're
Haunted
terrifying.
Dolls now. So, Sleepy Hollow started with Washington Irving's legend, 1820 tale of a headless horseman who terrified the real-life village of Sleepy Hollow. But, as we all know, urban legends come from something real. And where this came from... So it started in the Middle Ages with the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. We tell our kids to read nursery rhymes and read the Brothers Grimm, and yeah. And that leads to my next question after we get done with Sleepy Hollow. But Elizabeth Bradley, a historian at the historic Hudson Valley, says a likely source for Irving's Horseman can be found in Sir Walter Scott's 1796 The Chase, which is a translation. I'm going to read that. It's quite extensive, but I know most of our listeners love hearing poetry, which this one's kind of cool. It's a German translation of The Wild Huntsman by Gottfried Berger, and is likely based on Norse mythology, which is the birthplace of Sleepy Hollow. So, The Wild Huntsman by Gottfried August Berger. The wild grave winds. The wild grave winds his bugle horn. To horse, halloo, halloo! His fiery counter scruffs the morn, and thronging serfs their lord pursue. The eager pack, from coupless freed, dash through the bush, the briar, the brake, while answering hound and horn and steed, the mountain echoes, startling wake. What do you laugh at? The beams of God's own hallowed day had painted yonder spire with gold, and calling sinful man to pray. Loud, long, and deep the bell had tolled, but still the wild grave onward rides. Halloo, halloo, and hark again. When sparring from opposing sides, two stranger horsemen joined the train. Who was each stranger left and right? Well, may I guess, but dare not tell. The right-handed steed was silver white. They left the swarthy hue of hell. The right-handed horseman, young and fair, his smile was like the morn of May. The left from eye of tawny glare shot midnight lightning lurid ray. He waved his huntsman's cap on high, cried, "Welcome, welcome, noble lord! What sport can earth or sea or sky to match the princely chase afford? Cease thy loud bugle's changing knell," cried the fair youth with silver voice, "and for devotion's choral swell exchange the rude unhallowed noise. Today the ill-orned chase forbear, yon bell yet summons to the fane. Today the warning spirit bear, tomorrow thou mayest mourn in vain. Away and sweep the glades along," the sable hunter horse replies. To muttering monks leave matin song, and bells and books and mysteries. The Wildgrave spurred his ardent steed, and launching forward with a bound, who for thy drowsy priest-like raid would leave the jovial horn and hound? Hence, if our manly sport offend, with pious fools go chant and pray. Well hast thou spoke, my dark-browed friend. Halloo, halloo, and hark away. The Wildgrave spurned his courser light, o'er moss and moor, o'er holt and hill, and on the left and on the right each stranger horseman followed still. Up springs from yonder tangled thorn a stag more white than mountain snow, and louder rung the Wildgrave's horn. Hark forward, forward, Holfa, ho! This is hard to read. A heedless wretch has crossed the way. He gasps the thundering hoofs below. But live who can, or die who may. Still forward, forward, on they go. See where you simple fences meet, a field with autumn's blessings crowned. See prostrate on the Wildgrave's feet, a husbandman with toil embrowned. Oh, mercy, mercy, noble lord, spare the poor's pittance was his cry. Earned by the sweat these brows have poured in scorching hour of fierce July. Earnest the right-hand stranger pleads, the left still cheering to the prey. The impetuous earl no warning heeds, but furious holds the onward away. Away, thou hound no so basely born, or dread the scourge's echoing blow. Then loudly rung his bugle horn, hark forward, forward, holla ho. So said, so done, a single bound clears the poor labourer's humble pale. Wild follows man and horse and hound, like dark December's stormy gale. And man and horse and hound and horn destructive sweep the field along, while joying o'er the wasted corn, fell famine marks the maddening throng. Again uproused the timorous prey, scours moss and moor and holt in a hill. Hard run he feels his strength decay, and trusts for life his simple skill. To dangerous solitude appeared, he seeks the shelter of the crowd. Amid the flock's domestic herd, his harmless head he hopes to shroud. O'er moss and moor and hole and hill, his track the steady bloodhounds trace. O'er moss and moor, unwearied still, the furious earl pursues the chase. Full lowly did the herdsman fall. O spare, thou noble baron, spare. These herds, a widow's little all, these flocks, an orphan's fleecy care. Earnest the right-hand stranger pleads, the left still cheering to the prey. The earl nor prayer nor pity heeds, but furious keeps the onward away. Unmannered dog to stop my sport, van where they can't and beg or whine, though human spirits of they sort were tenants of these curious kind. Again he winds his bugle horn, hark forward, forward, holla ho! And through the herd in ruthless scorn he cheers his furious hounds to go. In heaps the throttled victims fall, down sinks their mangled herdsman's near, their murderous cries the stag appall. Again he starts, new nerved by fear, with blood besmeared and white with foam, while big the tears of anguish pour. He seeks amid the forest gloom the humble hermit's hollowed bower. But man and horse and horn and hound fast rattling on his traces go, the sacred chapel rung around with hark away and holla ho. All mile amid the rout profane, the holy hermit poured his prayer. Forbear with blood God's house to stain, revere his altar and forbear. The meanest brute has rights to plead, which wronged by cruelty or pride. Draw vengeance on the ruthless head, be warmed at length and turn aside. Still the fair horseman anxious pleads, the black while whooping points the prey. Alas, the earl no warning heeds, but frantic keeps the forward way. Holy or not, or right or wrong, thy altar and its rites I spurn. Not sainted martyr's sacred song, not God himself shall make me turn. He spurs his horse, bewinds his horn. Hark forward, forward, holla ho! But off on whirlwind's pinions borne, the stag, the hut, the hermit go. And horse and man and horn and hound and clamor of the chase was gone. For hooves and howls and bugle sound, a deadly silence reigned alone. Wild gazed the affrighted earl around. He strove in vain to awake his horn, in vain to call, for not a sound could from his anxious lips be born. I don't know, he doesn't have a head.
Really? I missed that part. I'm sorry.
He listens for the trusty hounds. No distant bang reached his ears, his courser rooted to the ground. The quickening spur unmindful bears, still dark and darker from the shades, dark as the darkness of the grave, and not a sound the still invades. Save what a distant torrent gave, high o'er the sinner's humble head. At length the solemn silence broke, and from a cloud as swarthy red, the awful voice of thunder spoke. Oppressor of creation fair, apostate spirits, hardened tool, scoomer of God, scourge of the poor, the measure of the cup is full. Be chased forever through the wood, forever roam the affrighted wild. And let thy fate instruct the proud, God's meanest creature is his child. He was hushed. One flash of somber glare, and with yellow tinged the forest brown, opposed the wild grave's bristling hair. Anyway, the dude lost his head.
So Dennis started this. This is Dennis's fault. Dallas needs to get his more coffee.
No, that is the poem that started the inspiration for the Headless Horseman.
I think that also started the creation of LSD, because after listening to that, everyone needs drugs.
But dear
Damn.
God, I would cut my head off after half and listen to that
That's what
again
the German
too.
translation
I
to.
know.
Oh
That's
man!
it was The Simpsons.
Wow.
So, what's your favorite Headless Horseman movie? Is it the Johnny Depp version?
BoJack Horseman.
BoJay.
No.
Arnold, you go to sleep?
Nope, I'm here. I've been texting my friend in Alabama.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So you have friends in
So-
Alabama. You're just not from Alabama.
Oh.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I would have to say the Disney version of Ichabod Crane. I still...
Yeah, that was pretty accurate
Friend,
for a cartoon.
it's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a fan of the Headless Horseman, the one with Johnny Depp. I was not a fan. I thought that was
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
did not like that.
I did not like it at all.
Well, to be honest, and nothing against Johnny Depp, I think he's great in certain roles. I don't think he didn't portray Ichabod Crane as
As what he was supposed to
what
be.
he was supposed to be.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it would have been a lot cooler if he was playing Jack Sparrow and being like, "Okay, let's go."
That's the only one we can play now.
It is really.
Ooh, pumpkin spice.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, I'm drinking pumpkin spice. What can I say?
So, Rosella, what? Do you know any urban legends, like any good urban legends that you were like, "Hey, where did that come from?" Or, huh?
Well, okay, so there was this thing. I remember this one night where my sister's friend was telling this story, oddly enough, in our haunted house. And there was this, like window behind it where, like, that was our front door. And we had, like, a long window, kind of like ceiling to floor. And one of her friends, we were waiting for her to come basically back from work, because my sister was having this huge sleepover, and they were all in high school, so it was Halloween, and they were telling all these stories. So this girl, apparently there was this girl in an apartment, and she wanted to, she had to go pee basically in the middle of the night. She had to go to the bathroom, but she was like, "I'm too lazy to get up," that kind of thing. And she debated for a long time and kind of, like, flipped around a few times in bed. and finally decided to get up. And in the dark, she didn't want to turn on the lights because she was so lazy, tired kind of deal. And she goes to the bathroom, and then she comes back with never turning on the lights. So in the morning, she wakes up, and there's blood all over the wall, and her friend is like hanging from the back of the door, dead, slashed up, basically, right? And then in her blood, it's written, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights?" So as soon as, like, my sister's friend started, like, stop saying this, right? Like, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn off the lights?" My sister's other friend arrived from work, and we all saw her in the window. And we're screaming. So I remember that one really well. And that's the only one that I know. But every time I do tell that story by a campfire, people get totally freaked out. They'd be like, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights?"
There are so many variations of that one too. There's the one where like the kid thinks it's their dog licking them from under the bed.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It ends up being like some creepy serial killer, and it says, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" I think that kind of stuff just plays on our primordial fear of the dark.
Right.
Dark and the unknown.
Well, that's kind of my next question is, do you think urban legends, as we saw through our Christmas creature show, were ways to keep kids in control?
Oh. Not a bad thought.
Some of the urban legends, kids go trick-or-treat by themselves, or kids walking in town by themselves, they disappear. See, that's what's going to happen to you if you go trick-or-treat by yourself.
What I like are like the campfire stories.
Right.
There's always a psycho in the woods. Like, they just congregate there.
But hey, they don't leave their tent, do they?
They don't leave their kids.
You ever been to summer camp?
No, your kids, after they get told this horrific story, they don't leave their
That
tent.
totally reminds you of like.
I call bull.
That's not entirely true. My kids are weird.
Well, our kids are all used to horror anyway.
Yeah, they'll be out jumping on the trampoline going, "Come on, psychopath, bring it!"
So remember that movie, the John Candy movie, In the Woods with Dan Aykroyd, where Dan Aykroyd starts telling his two twin girls who are already like weird, supposed to be really weird, and he starts being like, "Well, this is what my uncle scared me. There's always this psychopath that's like
The great
family that
outdoors.
comes and gets killed by a sanitarium freaks or something." Yeah, it just reminds me of that. You should not put your kids in the dark.
Well, I think that the purpose of most urban legends is a teaching moment. Like,
Well, yeah, it's morality or humor.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't go out here because you could get murdered. Don't go and do this because this could end badly in whatever way.
Don't go off the bridge
Don't
and
take
fall
candy
off.
from strangers. Things like that. All of those are in.
Except for the couple at Lover's Lane. That one is based off truth.
Now,
It just wasn't a hook.
there's one. So the whole thing, and I remember when I was a kid, we got to x-ray the candy and the apples because there might be razor blades and poison in it.
Yeah.
We were told that one back in the 70s when I was a kid, and that's really when it was at its peak. And that's a common theme internationally. I saw that listed in urban legend myths around. But do you know anybody that ever found a razor blade in an apple?
No.
No.
My favorite is that came back around, but it wasn't razor blades. It was when they legalized marijuana.
Oh,
now they got
And-
marijuana candy.
Yeah, I searched all my kids' candy because if I find that, that's mine.
But again, none of us know anybody that ever found a razor blade, never found a pin, never found the weed candy.
I don't know.
I do
think
know
I've
someone
heard
who
about
found
that
a
razor
blade.
blade thing in the news a few years ago.
Yeah, Eric, I found actually a pin in some candy that my son got once.
Needles are normal.
Right.
You
mean
do
like-
find needles in chocolate bars.
But the thing is, Izzy and I always talk about the show before, during the day, like today. And half the time when that happens, it was a family member that did it because they didn't like your kids or they didn't like the grandkids or whatever. It wasn't something that's going to happen in the general public that you're going to find in the store, you're going to find in some random neighbor's house. It's usually originates from somebody that knew your kids beforehand.
Yeah, but at the same time, with any of that kind of stuff, it's better to be safe than be sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
By all means.
Right.
And there are some psychopathic people out there that do some stupid shit. So,
And that also,
Yeah.
it's going to a lot of times be a family member because that's where most people trick or treat.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wait. Don't take that apple. That's the apple I put for Bobby. Yeah. Here, Bobby. Here's your apple. It's got a razor blade.
What
in
a
it.
Bobby tonight.
Yeah.
Poor Bobby.
My daughter will not touch caramel apples anymore.
Oh, you're horrible. But no, she won't.
2 years ago, I made caramel apples for everyone, and I made one caramel onion.
Oh, good.
By the way, if you've ever done that, it is really hard to do because in order to mask that smell of the onion, it is insanely hard to put enough caramel on there.
Oh.
Oh, that's true.
But it is pretty hilarious. The reaction was priceless.
Yep.
What's wrong with onions?
This Christmas we're gonna do chocolate covered Carolina Reapers
Okay.
for the adults.
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay. So, I got this weird urban legend that I was looking at from West Virginia in 1904. It's the Bunny Man. Have you guys ever heard about the Bunny Man of West Virginia?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I was looking at that quote.
Yeah, so supposedly there was this old insane asylum, and they were just closed it down, so they were transporting all of the residents from one place to another place.
Right.
In like buses. And one of the buses broke down, and a bunch of inmates got out, and they got all of them back except for one. And supposedly in West Virginia, you'll see a guy running around in a bunny suit with dead carcasses of bunnies hanging from trees and stuff because he's been eating them, like half-eaten ones. And actually in 1970, this couple was driving down this road and a guy in a bunny suit ran out into the road and threw an axe through their window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
And
god.
then 2 weeks later, there was another sighting of a man in a bunny suit chopping wood and running towards this car with his axe. And by the time the police arrived there, he had disappeared.
So with those, how do we know? And that's my other issue with a lot of these too. How many copycats come up? So somebody reads about urban legend, and oh yeah, I want to live in the woods anyway, and I'm running away from home, or I just don't want to live in town. So I'm going to put on a bunny suit and go scare the hell out of tourists. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where that's coming from.
No, for sure. I'm
Think
pretty
of the
sure
clown
that...
scare of 2018.
It doesn't take much with the clowns.
Well, even if he was a baby in 1904 when this happened, he would be 74 freaking years old by the time... And I have never seen a 74-year-old running after a car with an axe, able to catch it and toss it through the window.
Have you?
I live in
The part what I saw is that the cops actually did find him at one point eating the bunnies or whatever, and so they walked up to him and he ran, and then he ran in front of a train and killed himself throwing the axe at the cops. So that's the version that I had heard, and you know.
Dennis says I don't know the wisdom of doing that in Louisiana. No.
The other really weird urban legend that I found, and excuse me because I'm going to butcher this name, okay, was about a video game called Polybus, something like that. A video game.
Polaris?
Polybus.
Polybus.
And supposedly this video game in the 1980s, in 1981, showed up in a few select arcades in the Portland, Oregon area. And it was a completely black box. And it just had the name of the game on the main screen. And supposedly it was a highly addictive game that if the kid was pulled away from the game, they would have everything from headaches, nausea, vomiting, vivid dreams, suicidal thoughts, anger, and seizures. And supposedly men in black suits would come in once a week and download all of the memory off of the game, but leave the money.
That sounds like a CIA experiment.
And then, yeah.
Yes. Like, what?
And after a couple of months and several children having seizures, they pulled the game completely, and you can't find any of
That's
it
a CIA
anywhere.
program.
Yeah,
when
that
you
plays
were
into like
talking
that
about
mind
that-
control and
When you were bringing that up earlier, I was thinking Halloween 3, which I thought was the stupidest one. Halloween is Michael Myers. So you have Michael Myers for 1 and 2, then it goes to some random BS of a toy company for Halloween 3, and then right back to Michael Myers for 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 billion. Now we have. But
there's all kinds of the CIA or the Men in Black,
right?
And I would put that down to potential urban legend as well.
Well, how many urban legends like that are actually true and are actually CIA programs?
Who knows, man? Who knows? They did a
right
lot
now,
of really weird crap.
I did that one.
Right,
I highly doubt that there was a video game that nobody can really remember and nobody really knows, and
so
it
with
just
the CIA
disappeared
program, though,
somehow.
they're going to be selective. They're not going to distribute it to everybody. They're going to distribute to, the Joneses. They look kind of boring. Let's go see what they can do. Or,
Right.
Well, there's actually quite a few urban legends within video games.
Which ones?
So, have you guys ever heard of the game series Madden?
Mm-hmm.
It's an NFL-based football game.
Right.
There is the Madden curse.
Ooh.
Anyone
Let's
who
hear
is
about the Madden
featured
curse.
on the cover.
Wait.
Oh, I think I heard of it.
Have the Seahawks won?
Yes, they won today against Miami.
Outstanding. So we are 4-0, folks. Seahawks are undefeated. All right, carry on.
So there is. So the legend goes that along with the prestige of being the cover person on Madden, comes a curse that causes their upcoming season to be disastrous.
Mm-hmm.
Was Brady on the cover?
So the Saints Drew Brees in 2011, the Vikings Adrian Peterson in 2014, and the Patriots Rob Gronkowski in 2017. All of them had absolutely horrible seasons, and yes, Brady was in 2018.
Oh.
Yep.
So it took a year longer.
No, it just
For
took
him.
a lot of cheating to get over that cold.
In the original Red and Blue Pokemon,
Okay.
there was a song as you walk through a town in the game, that was so unnerving that supposedly the original version that they released in Japan caused several children to kill themselves.
Huh. Kind of like a Pied Piper meets Pokemon.
Yeah. So, there's lots of different instances where video games themselves have been either considered cursed or used for different reasons. For example, Saddam Hussein once tried to use the PS2 to take over the world.
I could see that. Not the PS2, but
Man.
when you look at the fact that video screens, lights, things like that can cause seizure activity by themselves, let alone playing a video game.
Right.
And how many video games strike violence in kids? How many, there's a whole lot of variables with video games by themselves, let alone throw a curse into it.
Well, the urban legend for Saddam Hussein states that he bought thousands of them.
Saddam Hussein did?
Yes.
Thousands of PS2s.
to use in his weapons of mass destruction because they had better chipsets than anything that he could get.
Oh, wait, you mean the weapons of mass destruction that we never found?
Yeah, because like the PS2s, they lit on fire after.
Oh, so they burned down the weapons of mass destruction.
So if we're going on if we're going on the curses route too, so there's a petrified forest in Utah, okay, and supposedly anybody who takes a piece of petrified wood from this petrified forest, either returns it in the mail or tries to return it in person. And their entire family either has mysterious illnesses, divorces, financial ruin, and it just basically ruins their life within a couple of weeks of taking the wood from the forest.
And how do you know this personally?
How do I know this personally? Oh, man. Okay. So, when my great-grandfather was coming over on the covered wagon, he stopped in Utah at the petrified forest, and he grabbed a bunch of pieces of this petrified wood because he thought these were really, really cool. Okay? And he gave them to all his kids. And they have been passed down in our family for, 3-4 generations now. So everybody has a piece of this supposedly cursed petrified wood from the petrified forest in Utah.
You throw yours away?
I did not throw mine away. Honestly, I don't know where it's at. It's either out in the garage or in my
we gotta go digging for it
shed.
And throw it over. I don't know, somewhere.
Darrington. I mean, no.
Oh,
Wow, interesting.
we'll send it to Rosillo.
That's messed up,
Hey,
man.
Rosillo, you want some petrified wood?
Here, we got you some cursed items. Check this
Yeah.
out. Here's Annabelle. Don't
Oh,
sit
wait,
in
there
this
we
chair
go.
and take some wood.
No, we'll mail it to Zach Baggins.
Oh, God.
He
Okay.
can put it in
God.
his haunted doll museum with something real.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh my
who's
gosh.
who's heard of the Grunch? Not
What?
the Grinch. The Grunch.
Okay, the Grinch.
The
No, I never
Grunch.
heard that.
No.
It's called Grunch Road. It used to be Grunch Road. It's in Louisiana.
Of course.
So, according to legend in Louisiana, there was a strange group of humans that were living in the woods. They were very cruel in nature. They became kind of a sideshow for teenagers and immature adults. But according to the locals, they still live there. There's a lot of inbreeding that went on. And so now, if you look for Grunch Road, and you see a goat that looks hurt, you don't stop, because that's how they target humans.
But the poor little goat.
I'm just keep. I don't like goats. I'll keep on
They
driving.
taste great.
Oh, God.
No, I have kids that would probably try to jump out of the car, but yeah, no. So if you stop your car to help the goat, then the Grunch will get out and they'll grab you and eat your heart and flesh.
Oh,
And-
okay.
That's horrible, man.
What? That's going to eat your heart and flesh?
No, okay. So there's a lot of these urban legends that like single out a population of people and make you fear them because of their differences.
Right.
So I think that's super messed up. So we got a whole bunch of like kids back in what time period did you say that this was happening?
That's how it's happened recent. People are still missing there.
Okay. So you got all of these people from like the early 1900s and beyond that are taught to fear people that have deformities or have differences or have that's
But that's
screwed
common
up.
with all of our religions.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's see. And this is like in the outskirts of the New Orleans area.
Okay.
So it's already New Orleans alone, as we hear about all the time, is full of paranormal and urban legend and
Vampires. Blah blah blah.
so then we got Hell's Gate Bridge in Alabama, and it starts in the 1950s. And it was a young couple driving across the bridge. Somehow the car went over the bridge. And so now, because they drowned, so there's two different legends associated with this bridge to the point where they shut the bridge down. Because too many people were driving over the bridge to see if something would actually happen. And they don't even encourage paranormal investigators.
Do you mean driving off the bridge or over the bridge?
They drove off the bridge.
Oh,
I had that one confused.
Okay, never mind. I correct my previous statement. You're right. People from that area do not know how to use a bridge.
No. No. They somehow drove their car off the bridge, which doesn't make sense because if you look at a picture of the bridge, it looks like it's made of steel. I'm confused too how they went off the bridge. But now, so until they closed the bridge off to where cars can't drive over it anymore. The story was if you stopped your car and turned the lights off, the spirits of this young man or woman would appear in your back seat. Nothing's going to happen to you because they disappear, but your seat is wet. So they actually, that'd be great. Gather up some DNA evidence out of that and see what happens. But you can't drive your car across it no more. The other story was you drive across the bridge, you look in the mirror, and they're actually standing in the middle of the bridge. But again, you can't. You can't even drive across the bridge anymore.
Yeah.
So Hell's Gate
What about
Bridge. Say again.
What about the legend of there's like a road in, I'm not sure where it is, but there is one in Ohio, way up in Ohio. You know the one about when the kids are pushing the car up, like you put the car in reverse and it's like your car will still drive, like go up the hill. It's
So
like
that-
a gravity
Yeah,
ball.
so that's not an urban legend. That is
Yeah.
an actual physics thing.
Yes, it's a magnetic pulse.
And there is one in almost every state and province.
Well, so you hear that variation of it. You hear the other variation where the kids run a school bus and they get hit by a train. You park your car on the middle of the train tracks, and the kids supposedly push you across the tracks and out of the way.
Yeah.
I saw one of those paranormal documentaries where they actually put flour on the back of the car to see if they could get fingerprints.
Okay, but what she's talking about is different.
Is it?
It's so there's
An incline.
you're at the bottom of a hill, and if you put your car in neutral, it will roll up the hill.
Yeah,
Okay.
but what he is saying too, it's the same kind of thing. They'll say that they have fingerprints on the back of the car when you get out.
Yeah. So they've actually tried doing that too?
I've never tried it. I wanted to go to. There's one in Ohio, and I might actually go up to it because I have to pick up my niece, and it's near Youngstown, Ohio. I know that. So
Yeah,
maybe I could try it and report back to you guys.
I haven't heard of one here. I know there's one in Oregon.
In Oregon? Well, so look. if you
Okay,
look-
so there's something called the Magnetic Hill. It's in Indiana, and it's the layout of the area and the surrounding slopes create the optical illusion of a hill. The hill road is actually a downhill road, but objects and cars within and on the road seem to be rolling uphill in defiance of gravity when they are in fact rolling downhill. So there's the optical illusion portion, but then there's also the magnetic portion. So there are certain places where you can roll a ball uphill and it keeps rolling like it would be downhill just because of the fact that the magnetic pole there is different.
Okay, so there's two different ones.
Yes, so there's some that are created like that through optical illusion in the surrounding environment, and then there's the ones that actually are doing an uphill pull through magnetic and gravity forces.
Yeah, that's because that's interesting, and obviously they add the children pushing the car thing for legend.
Right. And I don't remember if they got fingerprinted. Yeah, it was a very obscure case, I don't think they even got fingerprints off it, or if they did, it's too easy to get wind blow or a breeze blow, or come on, I have a hard time with that one. Most of the time,
Yeah, the one in Ohio is called Gravity Hill too.
Swamp gas.
It was swamp gas.
Swamp gas? Okay.
And a weather balloon.
The weather balloon was pulling the car across the street.
The weather balloon was pulling the car, and the swamp gas left the prints, right? Yeah.
So who's heard of Slaughterhouse Canyon, Arizona?
I don't do Arizona. Arizona scares me.
So the Slaughterhouse Canyon, it's also called the less frightening Luana's Canyon, and it took place during the gold rush. So figure 1800s. And there was a family who lived there. They were poor. The father would venture into the canyon for food for the family. One day the father didn't return. So the family was already starving, went into madness. The mother, unable to handle her kids without daggone, put on her wedding dress and murdered the kids and threw them into a nearby river and starved. So now, if you go into Slaughterhouse Canyon, you can still hear her wailing and crying, looking for her missing husband. No one's heard of that one?
No.
No, I've never heard
Really?
No. There are a ridiculous amount of them, though, that involve a mother going crazy and, like, murdering all of her
that's
children.
another common theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on that because my wife is sitting beside me.
Very smart man.
Hey, I already looked for all the knives. There's no knives around.
I don't need a knife. I can
I'm
get
a
a
mother
man
of
5
two,
ways
so
with
I'm
the
going
beaky.
crazy every night, but I don't think anyone's going to die.
That's all of us.
Right?
That's all of us.
Unless they kill me.
And then we'll hear about it
Eric,
becoming an urban legend. Huh?
Eric, have you heard of the 13 steps down to hell?
Where's that one at?
Ooh.
Maltby Cemetery in Washington here.
Okay.
Oh, we need to go.
Totally.
The only thing is they've closed it up due to too many people going down the steps and stuff. But yeah, it located in Maltby Cemetery, and it was a low-grade entrance to the tomb of a wealthy local family, and people started going down late at night, walking down the 13 steps, and while descending, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. But once you reached the bottom, if you turned around, you'd be confronted by a vision of hell.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Cool. We can pick out our spots early.
Take
So
the
it drove.
marshmallows.
The
They what?
vision would drive some insane. People were witnessed people stopping at the bottom, turning around, and then collapsing to their knees.
Huh.
But,
Hey, you know people. You can get us in there.
Huh?
I said, you know people. You can get us in there, can't you?
But
hell? What?
Into
this
hell?
one says it.
No,
One
it's
part
in the
said it was
cemetery.
covered up. One part said it was covered up. The other said they were. It was bulldozed in or filled in with concrete years ago. But there's still people that try to go in and dig to get down to it.
Hey, we've got a jackhammer.
Weird. Do you know if they ever did any actual testing on it to see if there was some kind of a, like, I don't know, propane leak or something? You know what I mean? Like
Something
some
to
kind
make
of
people go
natural
crazy.
thing that would make people see
A
visions.
gas leak, even a methane
yeah.
leak.
No, when I was looking earlier, and I was looking just recently, nothing really says that. I found this one person said they felt lightheaded when she got to the 6th step, also cold, barely could breathe. I could hear muffled yelling and screaming. I was not going any further.
Huh.
This one, yeah, and most of it was people just kind of like frozen and stuff and couldn't move.
Huh. See, to me, that sounds more like some kind of a gas leak or some kind of a natural. Oh God!
All right, U.S. government, calm down.
No. But for real, because if you're descending into a ground underground, I can't think right now. You know what I mean? It sounds more like a natural phenomenon. Like it would be something in the air that was making them feel sick and lightheaded and see visions.
Well, and that could be as simple as natural gas, methane. It could be any kind of gas leak.
There could be some mercury down there. Who knows?
Swamp gas.
Swamp gas.
Swamp gas. Okay. We can go with that. And then carried away by a weather balloon.
Yeah.
Or no, wait. We keep forgetting about the unmarked helicopters. Yeah.
The 13 stairs to hell. The weather balloon.
Did you come across anything about like Mel's Hole when you?
I didn't look. Did you? Good. So what do you know about Mel's Hole?
Mel's Hole and Ellen's. Yeah, over there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still that people have not found it, and they don't know if it's actual true or not. But it's the one that the guy called up and said he threw his dead dog down in there, and then a few days later, his dog found his dog up walking, healthy and everything.
And I actually heard people use that as a dumping site. They're actually throwing cars in there and refrigerators, and because it's an endless hole. They've never found a bottom to it, and that's in Eastern Washington.
There's got to be a bottom.
If you can't hear your Corvette dropping into a hole, I would hope somebody wouldn't throw a Corvette down there because that's too nice to throw into a hole. But even your refrigerator or freezer, though, you would think you'd hear it hitting the bottom of something, and no one's reported hearing a bottom.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It seems like they would have been able to. Well, I mean, I guess the pressure would be so that you wouldn't be able to get equipment down far enough, depending on how deep it was.
I'm trying to remember. This is a year. I think it was found in the 50s, if I remember right. Isn't that in Davenport, Washington?
No, that's in Cleo.
No, Ellensburg.
Cleo.
Oh, Ellensburg.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
It's over there by the Tiana River Valley.
Yeah, and the guy that identified himself as Mel Waters, called in on the show Coast to Coast.
Yep.
With Art Bell.
Mm-hmm.
But when they went back, they couldn't ever find the guy named Mel Waters.
He fell in the hole.
Yeah. Did they seal the hole up? That's pretty dangerous.
I don't think they ever did. I don't think they ever really did a full investigation of it. Because, like Arnold said, I don't think they ever really tried to find it.
No, the part I'm looking at now said the DNR, state DNR, the hole does not exist and is geologically impossible. But
I would think.
Hey, Mad Hatter, good to see you in the chat room. Glad you joined us. And it was there was a song written about Mel's Hole. I don't have a copy of it though. But yeah, if I remember right, it was first reported. Do you have a first reporting date on that one, Arnold?
1997.
Yeah. Okay.
Weird. I don't know. I've always been super interested in like random ass sinkholes that just show up, or like never-ending bottomless pits, or like.
But honestly, they're quite often natural phenomena. Sinkholes pop open all the time, and there's not always an end to them.
Well, usually a lot of the sinkholes are caused by like
swamp gas.
No, so if you have a forest. And through years and years, mud or sand or whatever goes over top of the forest, well, the trees will eventually die underneath of it. and decay, and when they decay, it causes the ground to open, and it will suck you in and then refill with whatever the sand or the dirt is around it. So most of those, I understand to a point, but the never-ending bottomless things are always
Joe says legend has it that Mel was paid off by the government for his land. He moved out of the country. Part of the agreement was he didn't ever talk about it again. I honestly could see that happening. I mean,
here's another thing. It says I found that a guy by the name of Gerald R. Osborne, who used the name Red Elk, described himself as an intertribal medicine man, half-bred Native American, who told reporters in 2012 he visited the hole many times since 1961 and claimed the U.S. government maintained a top-secret base there with where alien activity occurs. But in 2002, Osborne was unable to find the hole on an expedition with 30 people he was leading.
Dude, a drone. That's all I need. A drone.
I don't know, man. I mean, if it is some top secret military base or something, they probably put a lid on the hole.
They're going to seal it off.
Right?
I saw it happen in X-Files.
It sounds very X-Files. It really does.
They did it in X-Files. They covered the whole thing up with brand new grass. Come on now.
No, I'm thinking more of like a septic tank lid, and then they just put like forestry crap over top of it, and they were like, yeah, no one will know.
That's all they got.
Where the hell did they get the septic tank lid?
It's the government. They can get anything.
Pretty much.
They can get anything.
Pretty much. I mean, because, anytime we went to the Yakima training range, we convoyed right through Ellensburg all the time. I had no idea that Mel's Hole was right there.
Oh,
Of course, back then I wasn't looking for Mel's Hole either. Now I am. That's it.
They need to rename that.
We need a helmet.
Because when you tell people you're looking for Mel's Hole, that sounds so wrong.
It does?
Yeah, it really.
You weren't looking for it before, but you are now.
Oh, God. So who's heard of the California Charman?
Charman, like Charmander. Rawr.
No.
Oh, no.
So, where is this? Hold on.
Like Ralph.
I'm trying to remember the specific, because this is like in Joe's neck of the woods. It happened in 1948 in Ojai, California. So I'm watching for Joe's reaction. And no, they didn't have pointy sticks apparently. But in Ojai, California, there was it'll be Eastern Oregon, or Eastern California, more likely. But there was a man and his son that lived in a cabin. And they weren't warned there was a fire coming. Because, well, like Joe just said, there's 4 million acres of burnt forest in California as of 2020 for this year. But the Charman, the whole town evacuated. They forgot or whatever about this, son-father couple that lived in his cabin. The fire went through, and they found his remains and the father's remains, and his skin was filleted. It wasn't burnt; it was filleted, like somebody had actually peeled his skin off his body.
So what do they call him, the filleted man?
No, he was charred because he was burnt.
Oh, okay. So he was filleted and then burnt.
But he was filleted and then whatever, the fire came in and burnt him. So the cops, the fire departments, all of them showed up, and they looked for the boy, and they just saw a ball of flaming. The boy was still alive, and ran away in a ball of flame. But that is the Charman. How far away from Ojai are you, Joe?
That sounds like a screwed up version of Game of Thrones.
Ojai.
Is it?
Ojai.
Ojai. Okay. Ojai. There we go. And yeah, somebody killed him. They say the boy killed him. Mm-hmm. But, the more I think about that, what if it was a Wendigo?
A Wendigo filleted him?
Yeah. Why not?
Because Because that's not
Why
what they
not?
do.
Wendigos don't fillet people.
I have a hard,
It might have been a skinwalker and they took his skin,
that could be too.
but not a Wendigo. I wouldn't. Wendigo would just eat him.
Because if you're the boy and you've just burnt up too, they're gonna blame whatever happened to your dad on you. So yeah, you get a run. If it was only you
That's a
and
weird one.
him, yeah,
Yeah,
it was a weird story.
I don't know about all that. I'm just.
Yeah.
It sounds. I don't know. Like cooking accident gone wrong.
And Joe grew up 15 miles from it. So I'm curious if Joe's ever heard of that story, the Char Man. That seems kind of a rude name for him, but yeah.
Charred
And
man.
so on that note, we are going to go ahead and take our last break for the night. When we come back, we'll carry on with some more urban legends here on
You are
S4.
listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4 as we are trying to jump scare you tonight with urban legends. Minus the long poem I was reading. I think we pretty much scared everybody except for the poem. But yeah.
Well, considering you're looking for Mel's hole, if you walk behind me, I'm already scared.
Yeah, true. And no, Mad Hatter, there is no yawning in S4. That's a really bad sign. You're going to make us all yawn. It is contagious. So,
That was a Wookiee.
100 Steps Cemetery, Indiana. Has anyone heard of that one?
I bet there's 100 steps.
It's actually in Brazil, Indiana.
Oh,
The town of Brazil in the state of Indiana. So,
I wonder if they hold a carnival.
So what's cool about that one, there's two different stories to it. So there's 100 steps that go up to the cemetery, and you're supposed to count the steps as you go up these 100 steps to the top of the cemetery. And as you get to the top, there's a spirit of a caretaker there that's going to tell you when you're going to die.
oh, jeez. Yeah.
Why the hell would anyone want to know that?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
I have tarot cards for that, but I don't look at them
Oh,
either.
heck no. No tarot, no 100 steps.
No. But so you go up there, you see the spirit of the caretaker. He's going to show you a vision, basically, of how you're going to die, and then you go, "Woohoo! I've got another 20 years," or whatever the hell the case is.
Yeah, okay, so what if it's tomorrow?
What if
But
you
the thing
don't?
is-
Yeah.
The thing is, you're supposed to count the steps as you go back down the cemetery, and they're supposed to be the same, right? Mm-hmm. So if the number is wrong, the vision was false.
Oh, okay, so you got a 50-50 chance
Yeah.
of this being an
Now-
actual vision.
Some dumbasses decided they would skip around the steps. They would sneak up into the cemetery without going up the steps. Well, that doesn't work either. Because if you try to sneak and you get up to the cemetery without going up the steps, then a skeleton grabs your feet and you fall by an unseen force.
Huh.
So that is 100 Step Cemetery in Brazil, Indiana.
Just a question: if you're going up the stairs and you don't count, what happens to you?
What do you mean?
Like if you don't count them on the way back down or up.
Oh, I don't know. It
Yeah.
didn't tell. It didn't tell me that part. I don't know if anyone's. Well, I'm sure people do that every day. Then that means you
Yeah,
probably
because I mean, if you don't know the legend, you're just not doing it. So
right. You're
what
just going to
happens?
go up the steps or whatever the case is and visit your dead aunt and uncle and go back down.
Seriously though, okay, so I would be terrified if I think I'm going to a cemetery to put some flowers on one of my dead ones' grave, and I walk up some steps and there
But you know
out
what?
pops
If
death
you-
and it
the
gives me a
thing is-
vision.
If you've already got family up there and you're going to put flowers on them, you probably ain't going to be looking at no caretaker anyway.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, honestly.
You just passing by.
I would say that applies mostly for the tourists that are going, oh, wow, I want to go see a skeleton of a caretaker to tell me when I'm going to die. And Final Destination comes to my mind. No, I'm not going to go see an already dead caretaker to show me how to die. And no.
Yeah, you know, I don't think anyone should know their actual time and date or way of death.
Absolutely not.
Right,
You
The
would just be
normal person.
living in
And that's
fear your entire existence. Ugh.
right.
Now
But that's
the-
my number one question for all my readings. Am I going to die?
Right?
It's either am I going to die or am I going to have a baby? These are weird questions, but I get them
Well-
every day.
But
Okay,
the thing,
so-
wait, on that though,
Yeah.
the answer is automatically yes.
Well, not to the baby, especially if
No,
you're a dude.
but
but
the
Well, you're gonna have a
are you
baby
going
at
to
some
die?
point.
Yes.
yes, you
Everyone
are
is going to
eventually
die.
Right.
That's what I do too. I'm like, well, yeah, eventually everybody will.
Right.
I'm sorry if I went to something and it told me I'm going to have a baby, I'm going to laugh. Say, go ahead and give me my $1 billion now. I'll be the first male to have a baby. Yeah. No.
Well, not if you keep looking for Mel's hole.
Oh, you're going to kill me tonight.
Okay, but seriously though, I've always wondered that too, because that is something that everybody goes and tries to ask is how they're gonna die or when they're gonna die. Would you really want to know? If somebody had the ability to tell you absolutely this is how you're gonna die, this is when you're gonna die, would you want to know that information? I know I
would
wouldn't.
not. But I have people who seriously approach me and ask me, and they're very, very serious. They want to know. It's just really sicko.
I got to say, Joe, if there's 100 steps going up the cemetery when the zombies all wake up, they're going to fall down the hill. You know what? No. If I'm up on top of the steps when all the zombies pop up, I'm going to become a kid really fast and roll my happy ass down the hill.
Rosella, when they ask you that, you should just say 5, 4, 3.
Oh, no.
Oh, that would be terrifying. Oh, no.
Terrifying. Yeah, that's funny. No, somebody asked me that today, seriously, because I did 15 readings. Somebody did ask me that today. I was like, wow. And I literally looked at them and I said, are you serious? And they're like, yeah, tell me when I'm going to die. Am I going to die? Will COVID kill me? I'm like, well, if I knew that, you know, why would I want to tell you myself? Why would I want to give you that news? I just thought that was kind of unethical, but...
Well, at the same time, I can understand if they are super fearful for something like a massive plague or something that's happening right now, wanting to know if they're going to be okay and make it through this. I think that's more of what they were going for there. You know what I mean? Versus if they were actually going to die of it. They just wanted the reassurance that they weren't.
Honestly, it may be unethical of this, but I just give everyone 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. That means I'm going to be 100.
Yeah, no, not you.
Or be like, oh, look at Mel's hole. Bobby sent you.
We talked about
You
this.
won't know
Izzy
the
has
answer.
plans.
I can't be 50 more years? Okay.
Izzy said she has plans.
I figured I'd try.
So, Izzy said she had plans. I don't know what that means, but...
yeah, okay.
So
I
it
can
looks
pretty
like
much
only
guarantee
me
you
and
don't
Izzy
stand
are going to
50
know your
years.
time of death. Wow. So, 100 steps, not 1,000 steps. Jesus. I wouldn't
That
walk
would
up
suck.
1,000 steps to try to figure it out.
Well,
That would probably...
thank you.
Okay, seriously, 1,000 steps, I'd probably be dead by the time I reach the top. I'd be like, okay.
Well, and by the time you reach halfway down the bottom, you already would have screwed up on the number 5 times. So
Right?
like,
And you'd be
Go
like,
back over
oh
it.
man.
Yeah, no.
It was a false read. False read.
So I got to bring something up because we're talking about readings anyway. So there's another group that I was in, and I had to laugh. I laughed a lot, actually, more than a lot, because apparently there's this ghost investigator that's really concerned because, and I can't remember, Pound Town or something like that.
Pound Town?
They're selling Ouija boards. He's like, oh my God, no, please, no, not Ouija boards. And he's concerned because they're going to sell Ouija boards and it's going to unleash the demons from hell. Like, really?
Oh yeah, the dollar store Ouija boards?
Are you
That's-
serious?
But
Are we
what?
still stuck on that? No.
Oh.
So I figured we had to talk about Ouija boards a little bit tonight because, folks, Ouija boards ain't evil. It's how you use them, yes. And that's with any tool. You don't give your kid a chainsaw and tell them to go out and cut wood. No.
Yeah.
You give them the instruction manual first. And then you send them out to cut wood at 8 years old. But, you know... No. You have to know how to use it properly. The problem is when you have a bunch of 13-year-old girls that go in there and play with a Ouija board without knowing anything, yes, they can open the wrong door. But does it bring in the hounds of hell and demons? No, it does not.
your wife's going to call you a sexist. You better include boys in that.
And boys too, yeah. But in all the movies, all you see is a bunch of teeny bopper kids that want to bring in Bloody Mary through a Ouija board, or some other stupid. Throw in your creepy pasta creature in there, whatever the case is. But no, with anything, you use protection. All a Ouija board is a tool of communication. Whether you're using a pendulum or tarot cards or Ouija boards. Now the difference with that is the Ouija board opens up a door for the bottom dwellers. So it can be a malevolent entity. Yes, of course. Mm-hmm. But just because your kid gets a Ouija board is not the end of the world. They're not going to bring in a demon. No, it doesn't work that way. But oh my God, every Halloween, Oh my God, let's get worried about Ouija boards. No, there's a whole lot worse to worry about right now than they sell Ouija boards in the store. Anyway, enough of that rant. That rant popped up into my head because I just saw this freaking post the other day. Yesterday, actually.
Oh, man.
That and black cats. I feel bad for black cats. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I love black cats. Black cats are awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of cats, so.
Oh, I'm a
So
cat person.
what is the difference here then between like your typical superstitions and your urban legends? Wouldn't they be on the same level?
Kind of. So
I
superstitions
think so.
are so there's stories behind bobbing for apples. You know. So we're talking about that Halloween night. Not quite, but the 25th I think is. Well, what am I guessing? I have a calendar for
The
me.
1st of November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the 3rd of
There's
November
a
is-
superstition behind bobbing for apples.
First.
Yeah. There's a story behind it.
But the 1st
Oh, I've
of
never heard
November is
that.
this Halloween show, like the actual Halloween show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the 25th we're talking superstitions of Halloween though.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
The superstitions.
I don't know.
Okay.
Between trick-or-treating. The stories behind trick-or-treating, we'll talk about the stories behind jack-o'-lanterns, the stories behind all the symbols of Halloween.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then we're talking about the Day of the Dead. That's a little bit different.
That's extremely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting back to urban legends, like every area, if not town, has its own urban legends. And they
Yeah.
all start somewhere. Like, ours is Devil's Tower, I would say, is one of them.
Yeah. As far as concrete
It
urban
really is an
legends.
urban legend. Like, it is a mundane story behind it now.
Which one?
Devil's Tower.
But
It
the urban
became-
legends that surround that place,
You know what? So, talking about Devil's Tower, there's so many locals that go on this tirade about, oh, this kid went missing, or, oh my God, I saw a pentacle on the wall, so it must be Satanists out there conjuring up the devil. That's a common story you hear.
yeah.
What folks need to understand is look at the symbolism. So a pentacle is a upward pointed, 5-pointed star with a circle around it. That's used for protection, not for conjuring. An upside down, Baphomet looking pentagram is used for conjuring. That's where the Satanists come in. That's where Satanists use the same pentacle that witches use. But ours is straight up and down. But you need to look at and you see the same thing with paranormal investigators. They walk into a witch's house, for example, and they see a pentacle. And automatically they jump on, oh my God, they were sacrificing babies and they were worshiping the devil here.
But
No.
that's how these urban legends start.
It is. But that's why it's our job to debunk urban legends by looking at the facts. That's how you debunk them.
We don't want to debunk all of them. Okay.
Sure we do.
I mean, what
Well,
do we
then
get?
that's the thing too. Once you debunk them, you're the only one who knows you really debunked it. So then people are still spreading the rumor forever.
Oh, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's
They
the
come
thing.
out
A
with
lot of them, they will never end because
Yeah.
they get spread through so many different circles. Because like there's people not in this area that know about Devil's Tower and the different urban legends.
Right.
About them.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it like we have one in my hometown, Drumheller, and it's about a guy who it's literally the story of the guy with the hook hand.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the reason that urban legend exists is because of the movie The Hitcher. Because it was filmed there.
Okay.
Ooh.
And that just got taken as, oh, that was real. Like,
Wow.
they start so easily and so innocently, but become so huge. Like, honestly, Bloody Mary.
Right.
Look at how
Right.
that changed over time.
Well, I can't believe that,
Right.
we were getting told that as children. I remember in first grade that my friends were doing that during some kind of slumber party. And I never bought into it and thought it was stupid. But now my daughter's doing it. She's 10. And I'm like, what the heck? How is this happening with my daughter now? Like, this went that far? Mm-hmm. I thought that was just kind of stupid.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of also like the telephone game where it starts out, like you were saying, it starts out innocent, and then the next person tells it and embellishes something into it, and then the next person embellishes something else. It just becomes a big fish story.
But I think it goes beyond
Right.
that. It goes, like we talked about in the beginning of the show, it goes
years
to culture,
beyond it.
too. Mm-hmm. It goes to culture. It
Oh,
goes
and
to...
it plays on your fears, it plays on your... Yeah, all
Yeah.
kinds of fun.
Joe, yes, the legend of the hook hand was around before the movie The Hitcher. The point is, the reason that the legend exists in Drumheller, that there is actually a guy that comes out when someone drives down a certain road in Drumheller, is because of that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And media influence in movies and whatnot plays a huge role
Absolutely.
in changing
Yeah.
urban legends. Because they want to, throw that horror spin-off. And
Right.
it grows from that. I think urban legends honestly change the ritual or change how the main, whether it's a creature, whether it's a spirit or some other kind of entity, they change the story every time they come out with a new movie about it and don't get the facts right.
Yeah.
Well, they have to add this or they add that because the audience
Yeah.
wants to see this,
Right.
or they need to make it more gory, or
And-
whatever it is for show quality.
And the first thing I think
Yeah.
of is when Bloody Mary's got an axe in her hand. Yeah, okay, that's two different stories, but
Well, it's the difference between telling a true story and basing it on a true story.
right, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
So who's heard of the Black Angel in Iowa?
I've never heard of a black
No,
angel
I've
in
never heard
Iowa.
that.
Well, it's a statue. You've seen it in movies. When I saw the picture on this urban legend, I've seen that same statue in movies. Mm-hmm. She stands 8 foot tall, Oakland Cemetery in Iowa City. She's black because of oxidization. There's nothing supernatural about that point. It's oxidization, but it makes her appearance as black. And of course, anything that's black is automatically labeled evil. But
Evil.
what's interesting about the Black Angel, there's a legend that if you're a pregnant woman, should never walk under her, or they'll miscarriage. If you touch or kiss the statue, you'll be dead within 6 months.
Wow.
You want to try it? Hey, I know some people we can. It's yeah. You plead the fifth.
Yep.
I'll go kiss an angel and see if I die next week.
No, 6 months.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
6 months.
All right, let's do it. Let's
We'll bring you
experiment
back
on this.
with a Ouija board.
Okay.
Another
it's like
angel
if you go off of the kiss of death or the kiss of ever, there's the luck stone, the Bilardi stone.
Yeah.
Right.
Too, that is all based off of the kissing of the stone and it bringing you good luck and good fortune.
And so they're talking. So in the chat room, I wanted to bring that up too. Is a lot of your high-rise buildings don't have a 13th floor.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You'll find most of your superstition plays over into how they how they create buildings, and they don't have a 13th floor. So there was a story behind that. I'm sure it wasn't the original, but there was a haunted house, and the higher you went up in this building, if you made it to the 13th floor, then most people disappeared. So as you went up, most people didn't even make it to the 13th floor because it got more horrific the higher they went up, and most of them turned around and went back out and left and puked or, got sick, whatever. But if you made it all the way to the 13th floor, those people, they disappeared. They never heard from them again. Mm-hmm. And so out of superstition, I believe more likely you're talking 1900s, probably before then, is really when superstition came to the forefront a lot, I believe. They stopped putting 13 in their elevators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of superstition based around the number 13.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of different cultures that either 13 is the most unlucky number you'll ever have in your life, or it is the luckiest number you will ever get in your life.
Yeah.
It depends on what you look at it and how you look at it and what religious aspect you bring into it.
And Mad Hatter is opening November 13th, she said.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
And I'm assuming we're talking Mad Hatter Metalworks.
Yes.
I'm going to throw that out there real quick.
And
I'll wait for an answer in the chat.
do you think that has to play into the role of the movie The 13 Ghosts?
Oh, 13 Ghosts. So our crew here at S4 is going to watch 13 Ghosts, and we are actually going to do a show based entirely of the creatures, the
Entities.
the 13 Ghosts, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be interesting. We're going to debunk and go off of what would actually happen in this case if you were to do this and see whether or not it would actually happen.
And we're actually going to go deeper into each legend itself of the 13 ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
The 13 Ghosts individually.
Yes.
Yep.
Because each one of them was actually their own legend.
Yes. Totally.
Absolutely.
All right.
So I'm looking here. So, what about the Goat Man of Pope Lick, Kentucky?
The
Who's
Goat
heard of that
Man.
Yeah,
I've heard of that guy.
Are you
He
serious?
haunts the railroad tracks.
So there's no real story about how the Goat Man came to be. But some say he was a circus performer. And that's how he came to be in that area. But others say he was a farmer who tortured his goats, again for Satan, and in return was transformed into a hideous goat monster. He has been spotted as recently as 2016, where maybe not spotted, but in 2016, an Ohio woman fell to her death from the bridge that he's been spotted at the most while looking for the Goat Man. And that was at Pope Lick Creek in Louisville, Kentucky. His big goal is to hide under the bridge at Pope Lick Creek and lure people onto the train tracks and see them get hit by oncoming trains. Yeah.
I love the fact that you laughed about that.
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't see myself going into a train track because some giant goat creature told me, "Hey, come get on the train. It's gonna be fun." And yeah, splat.
Okay.
No, really? I'm not gonna get on the train tracks because a goat chased me onto the. No, that ain't gonna happen. But in 2016, so apparently on the same bridge, and that's 4 years ago. Like, wow. All right, we got Mad Hatter Metalworks listening. That's so awesome. I will be seeing you tomorrow anyway, because we have our National Night Out event on Tuesday.
Yes.
Unless you want to just show up at National Night Out on Tuesday night, and, we'll see our law enforcement flag then, and that would be cool too. So that was the Goat Man of Pope Lick, Kentucky. Nobody else has heard of this one?
The Goat Man?
Nope.
Yeah.
I've heard of the Goat Man.
Well, the Goat Man, yeah, but this is a specific...
No, I've heard of the Goat Man of Kentucky,
Okay.
and I've heard of him luring people onto the train tracks and everything, and all it ever reminds me of is the three little Billy Goats, Gruff. like,
Oh.
and then, you know, like, wow, that train killed
Was
you.
that really your impression of a goat?
I was like half screaming, half normal goat, and then I fainted. So we're good.
Good
I'm
analogy.
surprised nobody's brought up the legend of the Owlman.
The Owl Man.
Ooh, the owl man.
Ooh, tell us
What
about the
the
Owl Man.
heck, guys? What happened to our chat room here?
What?
You guys are weird.
What? Goats and trees? Oh yeah, the one that the
Goat's head soup, seniors bus pass. What the hell?
Oh.
Goats have weird eyes. Joe, quit staring into the goat's eyes.
Oh, staring in the eyes of okay.
Hey,
Yeah, we
dude,
won't
goats
go there.
do have weird eyes, man. Have you ever seen
Why
it?
are you
Goats
staring
do
into
have
the
weird
goat's
eyes.
eyes?
Because that's how you have to ram it. You have to look it right in the eyes, or it's gonna.
Why are
That's
you
what's
ramming
wrong
the
with
goat?
you. How many times did you get rammed by the goat?
You have to show your superiority over the goat.
Oh. Okay, Mad Hatter,
Yeah.
you need to refresh.
Yeah. Oh, she can't hear that, duh.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So yes, but I honestly, I've always thought of the Billy Goat gruff. And Bill, if you've ever heard the song Bill Grogan's Goat,
I haven't heard of that one.
no.
Yeah.
so it's basically an old.
S4 Radio does not endorse abuse of livestock
We
animals.
are
Kayla.
playing headbutt with the goats, not abusing livestock. That's livestock abusing humans.
No,
But-
that's superiority. For real. Okay, so Bill Grogan's Goat, it's basically an old kid's song where he eats 3 red shirts and he flags down a train.
Okay, keep on going.
Yeah.
Sing
so no. Stop it. So it just reminded me of the mashup between the 3 Billy Goats Gruff and Bill Grogan's Goat.
Huh.
Are you making this up?
No,
All
seriously.
right, I want to vote. Who wants to hear Kayla sing this?
No.
Like,
No,
Really?
you do not want to hear me sing. It's not pretty. You think screaming goats sound weird? Jeez.
At the top of the food chain. Huh? Who's at the top of
Okay,
the
yeah,
food chain?
the
The goat?
Owlman. He's
No, I am. For
Oh, okay.
like beating the goat up. Yeah.
Now that we're talking about goats' eyes and staring into the eyes of a goat, have you ever heard a goat yell?
Yes. They sound like a demented peacock, honestly. It's really weird.
How?
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Holy cow.
Did nobody else grow up around a farm? Jeez.
So who's heard of?
I'm from Ohio, I know.
Yeah. We didn't have any goats that yell. I don't think.
And all our farmers listeners are sitting there thinking, what the hell is wrong with this woman? So,
It was a small town in Washington. There was nothing else to do but ram the goat.
Well, that's
Okay.
kind of like cow. That's kind of like cow tipping. I mean, come on now. But I think they did that in Kansas. But yeah.
You need to get a new hobby.
Yeah.
So who's heard of the Cropsey?
Crappie. Well, there's
New York.
a million different versions of him, but yeah.
The Cropsey in New York is, I think, the most common one. But you know, so they call him Cropsey. But this is one of those urban legends that, in all reality, nothing more than a serial killer. And there's been a lot of serial killers that were actually that were copycat for that urban legend.
Mm-hmm. This is the hook hand, right?
Huh?
This is the hook hand.
The Cropsey's not, I don't think.
Yeah, Cropsey had a hook hand.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and take it away.
What?
Cropsey.
you asked for
It's
that.
basically the hook hand legend.
We're talking about
except
the
for
hook hand.
fact-
So let's talk about the hook hand in general. Because the Cropsey in New York, you know, like you said, there's a whole lot of different Cropsey names all over the place. And that's one of those urban legends. It really does go back to
Yeah. So
what
this
state you're in or what culture
yeah,
you're
there's
in.
different states versions of this everywhere. There's either the Lover's Lane version,
Right.
where they're in the car and then there's a hook in the door and they get away, or they're in the car and boy is hanging from the guy's hook hand. There's the version where it's just a serial killer with a hook hand. But the one thing that all of these have in common is the fact that it is a hook hand.
Damn. PBR says a Mexican serial killer killed 138 teenage girls. What is the most?
What?
Does anyone know the highest number of murders caused by one individual serial killer? I don't. I'm asking.
Well, it depends on what you would put in that category, because there are tons of tyrant kings and stuff like that would be considered mass murderers, but
Yeah.
and that's in the hundreds of thousands to a million range, depending on who that is. But if you're talking about one single person going out and killing another person,
So PBR's talking about a Mexican serial killer, so that's one person killed 138 teenage girls.
I honestly thought it was only the 90-something that was the pig farmer that was the one that was the highest
the
level.
pig farmer.
But
that was another one. Okay.
But I am wrong.
So Izzy's in the chat room. She says the most prolific modern serial killer was Harold Shipman with 218 proven murders, and possibly as many as 250.
That's insane. That's insane.
I'm just saying we can beat it.
Okay. Oh, good God. Really? S4 does not promote the use of
Serial killing.
Does not promote serial killing.
You know,
Goat ramming.
you can call me the goat ram killer.
Oh, God damn.
But seriously, I can't even.
Don't go find the hole.
That's the topic of our new show we're starting next week. But yeah, serial killers.
Oh, you have to disclaimer that, because you should honestly just disclaimer me.
Oh God, I think we all needed a disclaimer tonight. Oh,
That's okay.
So hook hand killers. Yep, they've been around since the beginning of time.
Which one?
And you notice that every killer with a hook hand, every portrayal of somebody with a hook hand makes them the bad guy.
Right.
They're always the bad guy.
Well, and isn't there a
Kind
that
of.
actually started a lot of fear just with people with prosthetics.
Yes, it made a bunch of people super scared of prosthetics.
Which is a violation of the Disability Act, but yeah, when you're looking at urban legends with,
Well, back when people were scared of that, though, there wasn't really a Disability Act.
true.
No.
So,
Well, no, absolutely, and they don't use hooks today anyway. But
Well, they do, actually,
Do
but
they?
they're
Yeah.
smaller
Oh, yeah,
crap
they
hooks.
still have them.
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
The reason we actually know that is there was a documentary about it, and one of the guys, he lost his arm when he was a young kid. He still uses a hook because he got so used to it that is pretty much what, like, he can't get used to anything else.
Yeah. So he still uses the hook.
And no, Dennis, you're absolutely right. S4 does not condone killing its audience. No, that would never. No.
Oh, man.
Oh,
That'd be a little counterproductive.
it would be. We love our audience. Our audience is awesome.
We'll kill all the other people. I mean, what?
What?
All right, so who's heard of the little girl of Knock Knock Road?
Ooh, knock, knock. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear this one.
Really? The legend of Knock Knock Road. So there's a little girl who was murdered on Knock Road. It was in Detroit, and she was actually hit and run. She was hit by a car, and the car kept on going. So now the legend is people that drive down Knock Knock Road, actually a lot of them depict seeing the spirit of this little girl, and if they stop, she knocks on their window. She's looking for the killer.
Oh, that would be terrifying.
Well, yeah, we've seen through the years of investigation where people are just. You have two sides of that field. That you have the one side that, well, children can't be spirits because they go straight to heaven. It doesn't work that way. But you got the other ones that, well, yeah, child spirits are the most terrifying.
I I wouldn't say that
I
they're
don't
the
think
most
so.
terrifying. I would say that they're the most confused.
Lizzie Borden kind of proves that not all children are innocent, guys.
Oh,
so
you're just wrong.
I'm just saying,
I don't think that Lizzie Borden was a child, right?
wasn't she?
Wasn't she?
No.
Who's
she-
the one
she
that's a
was
kid
not.
that killed their parents? There's someone that killed
Yeah,
their
Lizzie
parents.
Borden.
Marilyn Manson?
Marilyn Manson did not kill his parents. He sang songs about it, but he didn't do it.
You talking about the singer or the?
I meant to say Charles Man. Oh my God! Yeah, Marilyn. Wow. Okay. No more coffee for me.
I don't think it's as much as they see child spirits as terrifying as they see the fact that there's a child spirit present that makes it terrifying because they feel bad about a kid died. That would be where the terrifying aspect comes in.
Well, and honestly, in child spirits can be terrifying, but usually because they're confused and they don't know why they are there or what is going on. And when you get somebody in a state of complete confusion, denial, and anger,
Right.
you're gonna have a lot of stuff happen because of that.
No, absolutely. And they're, I think, honestly, the hardest ones to pass over. Because what were you taught, usually as a child, not to talk to strangers? Mm-hmm. So now you have a paranormal investigator coming in to help you cross over. And they're not going to listen because oftentimes with child spirits, they were taught not to listen to adults or, strangers.
Mm-hmm.
So our way to counter that has often been to actually go get a deceased loved one to come coax him across. And that does work. And Lizzie Borden was 32 when she was accused of killing her father and stepmother.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah, I
for.
just looked it up. 32.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm
What?
I'm looking up kids who killed.
Kids who
Killer
killed?
kids?
So far, there are a lot here. This list is long.
Looking up kids who killed.
Does make me worry about my own kids. Just saying.
So I do want to hit.
There's some psycho tendencies
Oh,
there.
don't get scared now.
Well, they kind of have to get them from their mama.
So who's heard of the Draugen?
Draugen?
Yeah.
Is
the
that like a
Draugen.
drunk way of saying dragon?
It's Draugen,
like-
and it's in Norway.
Oh, okay. The Draugen.
So the Draugen is known as one of the most well-known urban legends in Norway. Now, I don't live there, so I wouldn't know. But if we have a Norway listener or a Norwegian listener, let us know if you've heard of the Draugen, because I'm curious too. It's really old, and most people don't really believe in Draugen anymore. But the Draugen, I guess, just translated as a dead person. He went just outside the Oslo fjord to haunt the living. People soon said Draugen was a dead fisherman that used to go to the seas. He was buried in a Christian ground. And probably pissed him off because he probably wasn't Christian. And so if the people see him now, they get dragged under the water.
Okay, so this is like Davy Jones' Locker, except Norwegian.
Say again?
This is like the Davy Jones Locker, where you piss him off, you go in his area, he drags you under the water. And
Yeah, well, only if you see him. Mm-hmm. If you don't see him, just close your eyes. But yeah, if you don't see him, you just go about your business, sail your boat, whatever.
That, I don't know, man. There's a lot of those water ones that they always drag you underwater, or they put you in a box.
Well, you got Fae that do that too. Mm-hmm. But so correct my geography here, but is not Norway a lot of it's coastal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say most of your coastal countries, island countries,
Are going to have more water death stuff.
coastal states would have more urban legends related to water. Look at lighthouses. How many urban legends are related to lighthouses?
Oh,
So
tons
many.
of lighthouse stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's some creepy lighthouse stuff. Ugh.
There's Eric. Have you guys heard of Caddy the sea serpent?
Where's that one at?
off the coast of Washington. It's been sighted between British Columbia and San Francisco.
Ooh. Oh, we're gonna go look for it. What's he look like?
Yeah.
Is that a Nessie style creature?
Huh?
Is there a Nessie style creature?
Yeah, but he's got the head of a horse and the body of an eel.
Ooh. Maybe we'll have to go look for him.
Okay, so we're talking more like what you would expect for a water dragon. Like a water dragon look like?
Yeah, he's see here, about 20-foot long mega serpent slithering around on the north part of the west coast.
Huh.
And the head mirrors a horse, body like an overstuffed eel.
Ooh, it's like a seahorse that crossbred with an electric eel.
A long row of ridges protrude from its spine.
Weird.
Ooh.
That would be terrifying to see. No thanks.
So how many sightings have been of this?
I haven't looked, but there was the one I found was a lady. In 1991, a woman claimed to have seen the creature on the steps to the beach while she was walking her dog.
So it's land and sea.
It sounds like it, yes.
It
And they have
sounds.
pictures.
Honestly, it sounds to me like a water dragon.
Kind of. How many legs are on it?
I'm trying to find and see. It says a long row of the ridge's spines, web flippers located between the neck and at the base of its tail allow it to glide through the dark, murky waters.
Ooh, that's a dry. Yeah, I'd say that's a water dragon.
Right? That sounds more like a water dragon to me.
Send me a picture later.
For real.
Okay.
Because yeah, it does sound like a water dragon. And so for those that haven't heard the dragon show, we actually did a dragon show here about a month ago when we did our 24-hour marathon. And they actually did find a skeleton of a dragon, which is in the British Museum.
Yeah.
So Rosella, it looks like we're coming down here to our last 15 minutes. So where can people find your book?
You can find it on Amazon and then Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. Also, if you want to find more information about just me or my blog, you can go to on Facebook under @RosellaCRao author, or Twitter @RosellaCRao1, and Rao is ROWE. And basically, my travel blog is myhauntedtravelblog.blogspot.com, and a Haunted Good Time radio show is on anchor.fm/Rosella C. Rao, or under a Haunting Good Time radio show. So that's all my information. If you want to friend me and stuff, you can too.
All right. So I think we're going to have you back for Roundtable if you're available on... God damn it, where'd my calendar go? 2 weeks from now.
So the 19th?
The 18th.
Oh, 18th.
Yep. So the 18th, we'll have you back for Roundtable, see how your book's doing. So bring your 3
Okay,
questions. You too, Arnold.
Yeah.
And next week, we have B.A. Crisp coming on the show.
Yep.
And so she has, her name is Samantha Ryan Blake. She is a human trafficking victim. She also does a lot of paranormal work in all aspects. So we are going to still focus the show on paranormal, the paranormal and Halloween. It's going to be Halloween themed all month.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll be a fun guest to have on.
Absolutely.
And for the locals listening, don't forget we have National Night Out Tuesday night, 5 to 8 p.m. on First Street in front of the storage unit Shop and Save / U-Haul.
Just down from from the Shell Station, and on the other side, White Rabbit Tattoo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun event. Come get your disaster preparedness bags. See our native tribe cops that'll be there to represent law enforcement. And it'll be a fun event.
Yeah.
Yep, most definitely.
And then I'm not going to say a lot about it, but Cole and I are starting a second show that will only be on terrestrial radio. We won't have it available on Spreaker, but it is all disaster preparedness, terrorism, homeland security style issues.
Well, not just terrestrial. If you look up KSVU, you'll be able to find it on their website.
Yeah, 90.1fm.com. It'll be aired there in 2 weeks once we start getting production going. So that's like a lot of you know us. We don't just do paranormal. We also do public safety for our own community, and those are our focuses.
One of us also searches for Mel's hole.
That's a big
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. No,
and something about Bobby. I don't know.
So before we go, before we go, I want to know. So out of all the urban legends we've talked about, and you had no expense to worry about, you had no time to worry about, you could investigate one of them. Which one would it be? Oh, I hear crickets. Really?
So, okay.
You want to go up
We
100 steps, don't you?
we haven't talked about it.
Oh, which one?
I would want to investigate the curses of Egypt.
Oh,
Hey.
I don't.
Yeah,
okay.
Cole is like a big Egypt freak. I'm serious. Like, he freaking loves Egypt.
I don't see the curses of Egypt as being an urban legend so much.
That's because you don't live in Egypt.
Well, that's true. That's true. So you would go to Egypt and explore the
I would open everything I'm not supposed to.
Okay.
Check out
Fair
everything.
enough.
Okay. Wow.
What about you, Rosella? You can go anywhere. Say again?
I don't know. I think that it would have to be like probably the little girl one on the road, the knock knock.
Oh, Knock Knock Road?
Yeah, I think that would be interesting.
And PBR says the Hook legend. I'm close to being on board with that one. I'm also, Knock Knock Road. I'm probably pretty close to that one.
Yeah, that was interesting. Did they say that it was in the daylight too, or just at night?
That was just at night. From what I saw,
Okay.
from what I researched, I think I would go to Alabama and check out that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was interesting too.
I want to know how they got a car over a steel rail. Unless it.
You know what? I would go
They
and I
probably
would
updated the
find.
bridge.
I would find that
They
goat
might
man.
have. Huh?
I would find that goat
Oh,
man.
Jesus Christ.
You're going after Goat Man.
Yep, I'm going
Okay.
after goat man.
Go around.
She's going to stare at the goat
Gonna ram
and
him.
yell at him.
I'm gonna ram that goat man and make sure that nobody ever gets hit by a train again.
As he says,
Take him by the horns and say, "I'm superior."
Glad you enjoyed it, Mad Hatter, and we'll definitely see you probably either tomorrow or Tuesday. Whether stop by or you can stop by the National Night Out event.
Right.
And again, we have Roundtable in 2 weeks, and then Superstitions for the third week. So we do have our calendar booked all the way up until actually the first Sunday of January, I believe it is, don't we? No?
The next Sunday.
Okay.
The Sunday after the first
Sunday after. Yeah, because we're actually going to talk about the... Yeah.
2021. Will it be better?
Dear
we can only hope.
God, let's hope so.
Oh.
So we're going to jinx
Oh,
it
you
the
don't
first
want to
week.
hear what I have to say then.
Please don't. Please let me live in ignorance for just a few more months, please.
Okay.
I think it's just
Only because
began.
I'm afraid of goats now.
You know what? PBR, you're right. This was a good show. Guys, this was an amazing show. Thank you, Rosella. Thank you, Arnold. And thank you, listeners. You guys made it good, too.
Oh, you know, the chat room
Thanks
always
for
makes it
having
fun
me
because we have a very interactive audience that listens from around the world in the chat room. And where did he go?
Drugs are bad, buddy.
Mike.
What?
Oh, he said he went to bed because it was
Okay.
getting on like 5 a.m. there.
Yeah, so our listener that's in the UK, that I do want to get him on the show, and I actually want to get somebody. And for our international listeners, if you want to jump on the show, by all means, I love hearing other countries' cultures from
For sure.
countrymen. So by all means, get a hold of us. What's our email?
S4radiowinner@gmail.com. That's S4radiowinner@gmail.com.
Just shoot Cole an email and tell us what
Don't
you want to
shoot
bring
me.
on. Okay. Just send politely Cole an email. Anyway, with that, folks, I hope you have a safe week, a great week, and we will see you next week. And with that, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.